I am going to go ahead now and introduce our speaker for the event, who is none other than Yasas Hevage. Well, he's no stranger to biking or fitness or climbing in Sri Lanka. He's been at this for quite a while. He's an ideator, entrepreneur, sales and marketing coach, cycle race and event organizer, and a popular climber and cyclist for several years. On the other side, he's got over 17 years of sales and marketing experience at NDB Bank and HSBC, 10 years of tutoring for CIM UK, producing 2 world prizes. He's also been a sales coach and a marketing educator. Yasas is also the co-founder of Strategy College, founder of Spinner Cafe, Skill Salad, and Broom. He is a competitive cyclist and bike fitter and touted as the only Sri Lankan to ride a bicycle in the Himalayas range. I don't know, Yasas, if you did this somewhere in 2018, because I saw you posting stuff on Facebook, and incidentally at that time I was in Ladakh too, so I was amazed that a Sri Lankan was doing it. Then, he's a passionate advocate of cycling and believes in the human potential to stretch self-imposed limits on performance. He uses competitive cycling to stay sharp, with a vision to make Sri Lanka active, healthy, and competitive. Well, after all that, it makes me think, is there anything that Yasas can't do? Because he's done a lot out there. So I'm going to bring him on, because that's what all of you are waiting for. He's got some amazing tips on this whole cycling thing. It's just not about getting into a bicycle and pedaling all the way to work. There's a lot of information which if you know, you can become a better cyclist, not only for yourself, but also for the other people around in the street. So without further ado, let me introduce Yasas Hevage.
Thank you. Hi friends, good afternoon everyone. We are physically present, I guess. Can everybody hear me loud and clear from wherever you are? So once again, thank you Slascom for this opportunity. I've spoken at this podium for many reasons, but today is, I think, the most exciting one for me. So I hope you are going to be ready for the open chat. It's a very relevant time to talk about change. So when you see me wearing this, if you are here already on this forum, if you see a bicycle, where this is about change, it's not just about a bicycle. So if we don't make the right changes right now, right from the top, right down to you and me, our institutions, and all the way to our households, and those kids who are trying to figure out how to go to school, I think we as a country might be facing a barrel of a gun, which I think we are very clear at this moment. So, open chat, I'm going to share some thoughts with you. I've coined this as ride smart. Whatever the ride it is for you, it has to be smart right now, because just running hard and fast has made us go bankrupt. So whatever we did up to now as a country has failed, then how do we from here move things in a direction that makes sense to each one of us? So keep the questions coming, make it a conversation, all of you as well. Api khatha karala, full open chat ekak karala meka discuss karam. For me it's very important, because such a simple thing as a bicycle connected with the technology brains in the country and the BPO team, Slascom, I am very excited. I see this as a potential way of working out the smart part, which I think is in the hands of the team me over here. So let's see how this goes. So crisis is a crisis. I think there's no other reason for me to talk more about it. But for me, it's an opportunity. I think you will also agree. There is a problem. We are trying to do things out of no choice, but how do we create a choice out of it? So COVID taught us lessons. I've heard some of you have not come to work for almost a year, but then there is a whole country who almost went to school 5 days until the petrol ran out and realized, oh my God, we can't go to school, and we close school. And now we are saying go 3 days. So we are so reactive. Have we really learned something? Here is another crisis which might almost knock us off, and are we going to learn and do something significantly different? So I hope that's the way you're thinking, and that's why you're part of this online session, whoever is online and you're physically here. So change is the discussion, and everywhere we look, we are struggling to change. We are refusing to change. We are dragging ourselves. So if this is a topic you haven't read a book about last 1 month to 3 months, if you haven't watched some YouTube content, well, maybe you are trying to go through change by touch and feel, chances are you might lose the opportunity or you'll get screwed. This is the time that will be the best game. Your A game in change has to be right now. So if so, have you invested some time on the topic? So action point, post-it note, read by a book, follow some leaders who's done great change, because this is about change. It's not about a bicycle. So usual stuff. Whenever there's a change, there's no fuel, what do? You start grumbling, we start blaming the government. ඔක්කොම වයින්නවා මම මොකද්ද කරන්න කියලා හිතා ගන්න බැරුව හැමෝත් එක්කම එකම තෙල් පොලිමට යනවා, which is the normal way how people go about. If everybody can think proactively, if everybody can foresee a Wi-Fi less country, now you see, what are you talking? What do you mean? We were told not to get out of the houses. We never thought that movie will come to life. Now we are told no fuel, and everybody is in a fuel queue. For some reason, we are expecting Wi-Fi to be there forever. Wi-Fi comes out of diesel. Servers don't run from heaven. So we are not even tolerating thoughts like that. ආපු වෙලාවට තමයි හිතන්නේ අඩේ මම මොනවද දැන් කරන්නේ, Zoom කොහමද දුවන්නේ, Zoom දියව කියලා අරගල කරන්න බෑ ඒකට. We have to figure those out. So the point is, are you studying the subject? Are you playing the game? Are you pre-contemplating? Are you angry? Or are you just adapting and preparing? Or are you leading the change is the question. So I used to be a bank, I promise you. I had to wear a tie those days, which is a nice thing. I don't have any tie anymore. 2012, I changed. And I started looking at this business called the Winkele. Not because I wanted a business. I knew this business of Winkele won't be there 10 years from now. That was in 2012. So when I left the bank in 2014, ex-banker, I started a Winkele. So let me show you the Winkele, which has gone through all the cycles, COVID and now, and we're still running. And you're right, Winkele is making money. All right, Winkele is making money. Not a lot of money like some of you think. There are costs, there are disruptions, there are problems. Even the problem of opportunity of bicycle has come with a problem. Country has no parts, it's a disaster. Even to fix a patch is a disaster. So don't think that Winkele's guys are becoming a lot rich. It's not happening that way, right? So, but we changed the game long ago, right? Why am I saying this? It's about how do you take this opportunity and move this forward. But then we have a plan to discuss all the technical stuff that you need to know as we go forward. මඤ්ඤොක්ක කාලා බයිසිකල් පදින්න අපි නම් ලෑස්ති වෙලා හිටියේ. ආණ්ඩුවෙන් දැන් කියනකොට මඤ්ඤොක්ක කන්න කියලා අපි කියන්නේ ඉතින් අපි ආණ්ඩුවෙන් කියන දේ මඤ්ඤොක්ක කන්නේ. We understood piti කියන්නේ dollars, both kiripiti and palm piti. So if today I don't know what tea we are going to get, if it's kiripiti means I think we are part of the problem. So we are struggling to change. So here's my favorite model. After this no more models, we'll come to bicycle. To get things, we do things, and we end up doing the same thing in a slightly different flavor. And we go back doing the same thing after we get. So generally common goals and common action. Few people can see things differently and they will do something significantly different. Significantly different. So this is the difficulty we are having as individuals. As a country, we will end up doing, even at the next election, if we have one, we might end up doing the same thing and we'll get the same result. So if you see things differently, you will see this as an opportunity that can change the whole game, from a household, from the way we eat, the way we consume, the way we entertain. Everything has opportunity to go back and reconstruct and then to rebuild from wherever it is. So I hope that's what you're thinking. So since we've got some CEO levels, some who are running companies also in this forum, I'll give you the big picture. We are today in a session of inspiration. We want to discuss about cycling and this whole thing about commuting. But also if you are running your own company or you are a HR head, we have to think of ways to encourage, which you have done with COVID, but with this new form of transport of cycling, how do you do that? And then also you need to build some infrastructure in your companies that helps people. So when you came in a bicycle to this building, did they have a parking area for bicycle? So which was never there. So in the last last 2 months, everybody's putting bike bays except the banks. The first, my bank, NDB though, they're yet to put a bike bay, because that's what they call bankers, no? But others are already moving. ඒකවත් කරන්න බයිසිකල් ආව මනුස්සයට බයිසිකල් තියාගන්න තැනක් හදාගන්න රුපියල් 10000ක් වියදම් කරන්නත් බැරි එකක් තියෙනවා, right? So simple infrastructure can help. So that's the 4 blocks that we work on. So few things have happened in the past. Spinner and I'm involved in this a lot. So starting from planning, executing, how do you keep it going? When the fuel comes, not everybody is going to continue this. So you got to think those through. And we've had companies doing good stuff, and more of that is now happening. So if you need any help on this area, some of you are running your companies either from a welfare point, HR point, or from an entrepreneurial point, we can help you. The philosophy has been all along, a bicycle can make your life simplified. It's a great tool for kids to learn life. If you fall, you get up, you learn to sustain, you're on the road, you're part of nature, you talk to people that will never talk in a car. The real Sri Lanka can only be connected when you're on the road. And that is something a bicycle could do. It's an amazing tool that has changed my life. I hope slowly you will experience that. And then obviously we need the policy to fall in place. Governments keep changing, people change, policy is a tough one, but together I'm trying to inspire you also to be part of this discussion. We've set the mechanical setup, we've put the technology in the country, we've done work a little bit more to do to get more mechanics out there. Otherwise, if this boom happens, which I think won't, it will come to a point, it will go back to some level and it will start slowly growing. This is a bit of a no-choice situation, but we need the mechanics. That's where I'm putting a lot of effort with a group of people. It's not easy to attract young people to become mechanics. That's for all the tech people who want to retire early and become bicycle mechanics. It's a lovely job, man, and you can make money, right? Cost is less, ne? Ekainda you can live a good life. So connect with me, we are really looking for mechanics, all right? If you just put a Cadence bicycle mechanic, you might have a queue today because, you know, in PETA, they don't put a patch now. They refuse to put a patch because they have no time. And they can't do that. Unbelievable. And a patch is now 500 rupees. So there you go. If you look at the route we've come since 2012, all these events, all these companies have been sponsors and partners, long journey to bring the lifestyle of being a lifestyle of cycling, but now it's not that, it's about this whole commuting thing. So infrastructure, we've done a lot of work. The first Bike to Work Day, Car Free Colombo, Cycling Sunday. We had the Colombo Municipal also doing some work last week. So things that were never there, I can see things happening. We are also injecting some thoughts. So there could be some positives as long as you can guide it in the right direction. So that's a good thing to see. Just the lane doesn't help like a bus lane, right? You need to execute the lane, right? Is this a big picture? Just for some of you who wants to connect your companies to support this, partner these type of projects, we have to get the policy piece right. Sri Lanka doesn't even make a bell. We can't today get seats sorted out. There are no helmets. So we have become a country that is looking up and waiting for China to send us every little thing for this simple bicycle. So Just like everything else, we've screwed everything up, including our ability to ride a bicycle at affordable price. That's the truth. But that means we have to do something about it. So tomorrow we have a good discussion about few things. So let's see if you have a way of influencing, supporting that. We need more community engagement. Of course, policy, let's wait till these guys figure out their government. So there's a ministry, but we as private sector, some of the things that we could do. I'm really working on this. Thanks, LASCOM. This is where you are, workplaces, supporting and working on it. We have a project plan called Smart Friday, which I think a lot of tech companies get involved with, bike to work from home, etc. So, with that in mind, today, ladies and gentlemen, we are on our topic of figuring out a bicycle to make it a smart part of your life. We were clear, thanks to dialogue. This made our life smart. Today we can work from anywhere. My laptop is here. My office is, you show me the place. As long as there is some place to sit, I can start the office. So that's the level of smart work capability the country has today. Road infrastructure might not work, but the digital infrastructure, we have to give a thumbs up to our friends and the others also. But I think dialogue led the game. No? So I think we have to give them credit. But the rest is we have to make a smart api smart technology විතරක් තිබිලා බෑ. අපිත් දැන් කොහොමද smart වෙන්නේ, right? So ride smart is the discussion. So bank of the bicycle changed my life, and still the same flair and the love for the bicycle is inside me. I hope all of this, whether you are cycling for choice or no choice, brings that kid out, because after all this settles down, if you love this whole thing, it might just stay and you might make this part of your life. Now, I'm not here to say your car is not important. Your car is part of it. You might obviously make it electric car, but then for the short distances, those one-off things, or maybe to bike to work or school, this might be the solution. I've seen it at all levels, from as a kid, competing right at the top of the game. That's the Himalaya picture you told me, one of them. I don't talk about it a lot for a reason. There's no even video on this project. And then, of course, the fun part of bicycle padinege. Paranayatwa, take up biwa, katakara, balupangyak kava. Who knows the price of a plain tea and a tea bun? I have a gift to give you today. Depends whether you want this or that. Okay. That was a palavani prashna. Online can also see cost of a plain tea and a tea bun. Malupan lebe macam, we can't afford malupan then. Pare api wage samanya janatawa bonne plain tea ekai tea bun macam. Malupan is a luxury product. Yeah, they macam. Ekasiya, can you believe it? Tea bun and a malupan, man. Amazing. But the best tea, I'll tell you, you'll only find on a bicycle. The strong tea, the solid ones, the ones that you can. So it's a fun thing to do. So maybe all these are my icons, what a bicycle does for me. Sure, as we go, I will ask you some questions at the end. Surely I don't have any fuel cost. I save a lot of time. Today I came from Talabazukura here in exactly 30 minutes. I had 60 seconds wasted for 2 color lights. Otherwise, I'll be exactly on time unless there's a puncture, which is rare. So amazing productivity. No dependence on anyone, no traffic problems. So there you go. So we are going to talk about 4 things. You can ask questions. We have to talk about the road. As we talk about cycling, we are on the road. It's the real deal. Just like somebody walking. That's it, right? Then we have to talk about the bike. We have to talk about safety from an equipment point, as well as overall safety. And we have to talk a little bit about cycling economy, which means how do you efficiently ride a bike? How do you don't sweat, and how do you, don't overexert and unnecessarily make this a bit of a messy exercise. So, does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let's start with the bike. So how many bought a bike? Because of the crisis, bicycle got there. How many of you already have a bike? Not bad, huh? Okay. So the guys who had a bike before the crisis are the lucky ones, right? Because guys are paying a ridiculous price for a simple bicycle. This standard bike, I custom made it. 35,000 I spent. Of course, I have spinner. But still, all the cost. Today, 70,000 bucks, you can't even touch it. This is called a simple standard bicycle. May I කරන්න මේක වැඩිපුර දාලා තියෙන මේ hack bar එකයි මේ දෙක අයින් කරන්න. Just that. Unbelievable. 35,000 rupee bike. Yes. Thank you. So also the reason I'm riding this is to drive a point that you don't need fancy stuff. Of course, I have few bikes at home, but this just gets the job done, right? And weight and all that are things in our head, right? So we'll talk about the bike. So I got involved in the subject of bikes because I had to buy my first bike. I told you, I used to be a banker. That's how I used to dress those days, which is a nice thing, I think. But I used to go by bus because I was a clerk in the bank. First car, second car, because I planned to be a CEO of the bank and also retire at 40. I didn't realize dekama karanda baya kiyala. So I had to buy the right car for the right job. When I became a senior manager, I bought another better car. Then another one. 2011, I stopped buying cars. I don't have a license for 5 years. And that's the same car I'm having. So when I decided, I went and started researching. I went to Malaysia to buy this foldable bike because Dr. Dahon in my research came as a super guy who had done a lot of work on folding bikes, and I want to buy a foldable bike because I want a bike to work. I took that decision. By the way, this was the first hybrid SUV in the world, the Lexus. I got that down. Then the government increased the tax of that also. So that's the first bike, a simple foldable bike. So I started studying. Then next year I wanted to race, which means I had to, Sri Lanka didn't have too many options, so I had to go to Singapore, figure that out. So I've been involved in buying bikes apart from my spinner life for 10 years. It has been all about bicycles. So the discussion about when you have to buy a bike, I put down 7 questions that you need to look at. If you already bought a bike, don't get worried, just ride it. Best bike is your neighbor's bike that they are putting hanging clothes. Everybody has a clothes hanging bike. මම නම් කියන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ගිහලා ඒ බයිසිකල් අරන් පදින්න. ඇත්තම කියනවා මගේ first bike was my friend's clothes bike. I still have it. So start small. So here are 7 questions. So I'm going to put it up fast and open up for more Q&A, right? So I'll let you browse this for a minute. Guys, keep the questions coming, friends online. Even you guys, please. The reason I will take some time on this is not because you don't know this stuff, but if you are clear, you can even help somebody, guide somebody. We need more and more advocates out there, more and more who can guide people. So what's your goal? Where are you going to ride the bike? Predominantly what type of road surface? Thirdly, the type of bicycle. Please set a budget. I know these days it's very difficult. Have you figured out brand? Is brand important? Honestly, no. Frame size is extremely important. Just like clothes, bikes have sizes, and then there is this topic called bike fit, which we'll talk. So let's quickly move on. If you go to buy a bike, you'll realize, oh my God, there are so many types of bikes. And that can be really confusing. So if you go to Spinner Facebook, please do that. The post that's pinned to the top is an analysis like this, which gives you a very clear idea what each of the bike types does. But if you summarize it, you can break it down to 4 types. By the way, අපේ භාෂාවෙන් අපි මේකට කියන්නේ shopping bicycle කියලා. How many will have a bicycle like this? Yes, majority will have a bicycle like this. This is what we call a mountain bike. So what happened was, mountain bike as a sport came into the world in the 80s. Guys like Gary Fisher in USA created a sport to ride in gravel, jump off rocks. So the suspensions were made to handle extreme shock absorption. You know, and the tires were made wider for sand, for mud. That was a sport. What happened was, අපි ඒ වගේ බයිසිකල් හදලා ලංකාවේ වික්කා. මොකද ඒක ලස්සන හින්දා. ඒ කියන්නේ 90% of the bikes we have bought are not the ones for road commute. Because none of us use those mountain bike shock absorbers to what it was designed for. So if you have this, all good, but if not, everything in this bike is made to make it inefficient on a tar road surface. So then padinna kamak naha, gattot kawada aluthen, you need to move to road bike options. So this is the ultimate road bike, if you say, for distance, which is called a road race bike. Slim tires, no shocks. That means relatively lighter. I mean, all of these shocks make your bike heavier, and you don't use it. You don't use it. So if you have it, it's okay. So what generally we settle down is what we call this hybrid bike. Looks like a mountain, but a lot more slimmer tires, no shock absorption. So it's the more efficient machine for everything. So hybrid category එක අපි හැදුවා අවුරුදු 7ක 8ක ඉඳන් තමයි වචනෙත් මාකට් එකේ දාලා දැන් මිනිස්සු ගොඩක් දන්නවා. A lot of people understand why the hybrid bike is the ideal option. So don't want to break your heart about it, but if you're ever buying something, look for it. But now in the market they're all sold out. Now people are buying අතට අහු වෙන එකක් ගන්නවා මිනිස්සු. People think bikes will disappear and මාර problem. We have created a crisis out of it, which is panic buying, which is, I think now it's settling down. Like masks were sold, every shop is having few bikes to sell now because it's a way of making money, which is fine. I am of course happy, more bikes the better. But if the bike's not the right one, you end up again having that bike as a clothes hanger, right? So that's a thought for you. So when you're buying a bike, you're not buying a bike. You're buying the components. Because when you say, I bought this brand of a bike only makes this frame. That's it. Everything is made by others. So the efficiency of a bike is about its components. So if you go on YouTube, by the way, all this stuff I'm showing is on Spinner YouTube. There's a long video, 20 minutes. A lot of people have watched it. So you can watch it on Spinner Cycling YouTube, right? So leaving out the frame, this whole engine part, from the brake levers, all the way to your discs, or all of that are made by other companies. So giving a bit of attention to what those are, what's the make of it, how efficient is it working, is a very important decision for you to take. So today we can't go through all of this, but this is not rocket science. If you spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes on YouTube, you'll get it. So when you look for components on a bike, you'll find a company called Shimano. So just like Intel for Dell, not Apple, HP, etc., the Intel of cycling is Shimano, 90%. They are the ones who make the components. They are the ones who make all these gadgets, not in this bike. This is a basic bike, but in a bike of a particular standard. So, and there's a lot of fakes also. In the Sri Lankan market, there is absolute fakes. Okay? And then there's the B grade, and then there's the original Shimano. So if you can get to at least the start level Shimano parts, if you can, you will find the quality, the ride quality is a lot more better. You feel the gears shifting so easily, and the efficiency, you will feel it. Eketh grades like chips for a computer. So example, on a bike like this, if you look at where it starts, the parts will start at Tuni, Sora, 105, DYS. So at a starting level, if this whole set costs 100,000, all of this, or whatever, $500, this will cost about $2,000. So that's that ultimate components that make you, like when you shift a gear, it'll like butter, slightly lighter and all of that. But even a start level good Shimano components is going to really improve your ride. So when you look for a bike, don't just look at the frame, Mahara Lassanai, Mahara brand, go into detail and look at the components that you're buying. Used bikes are also an option. So if you remember, we used to send a lot of people to places in Sidua. There are a lot of places that bring large quantities. Remember guys, they bring these bikes in huge containers. Then they refurbish it, which is perfectly fine. But you have to take extra effort to check the bike out for wear and tear. So example, if the cassette behind is worn and you run a chain on it, your chain is going to go off very, very fast. So you have to use your sense and look around, look into the bike, move things, especially where there are springs, where there's tension, are they working? Ride it before you buy, and see that you make the right decision. Good way to start, but even these have gone off the ceiling now, so we have a bit of a challenge. We have a solution of a bicycle and a problem of the cost. But said that, you can buy a used bike or you can go for brand new. So brand new, people talk about brands. Generally good brands, what do you think are good brands? How do you figure out something is a good brand? How do you know that's a good brand? This is an okay brand, this is a good brand. How do you come up with that? Sorry? The quality. The price, yeah. It's about visibility, Maza. If you've seen the brand a lot, so just like Formula 1, okay, so good brands are brands that you see on races. That's what people say good brand. So the brands get popular when they sponsor events like Tour de France or the Tour of Italia, Giro d'Italia. So that's how brand names are built. There are a lot of brands that, it's like a Rolex is known because of Wimbledon. But you won't see Patek Philippe or some other top high brand, Kiaganda berry brands, they don't sponsor too many events. So you'll buy a Rolex, you'll run the Rolex, but you'll probably leave a Patek Philippe, I don't know watches much, I don't have that. But you don't know the brand, or a popular brand, can fake karna brand thiyenne. Kit Kat ne fake karanne, taw Kit Kat fake karana, Rolex fake karana, but nobody, Louis Vuitton fake karana, dannati brand fake wenne. So it's the popular brands. But a good brand also means a brand that gets exported to markets like US. Because US have heavy regulation on quality. Their recall policies are very high. So if you look at a brand, if it's already exported to US, which means you have a good idea if this is a quality bike. Because the consumer protection is extremely high. If there's a defect, a recall, it will be there, published for you to check. If it's a China brand, straight to Sri Lanka, they will PTI. ඒ වගේ නම් quality check වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකද ඇත්ත කතාව. හරිද? හැබැයි අපි quality check කරලා ගන්න ඕනේ. Quality check කරන්නේ නැහැ, එහෙ කරන්නෙත් නැහැ, මෙහෙ කරන්නෙත් නැහැ. So, said that, then we have the Sri Lankan brands, which are established for some time. Good place to start, but these bikes have become very expensive. At least these companies have been there for some time, so if you have a problem, you can always go to them. They all give a warranty on the frame. So that's also okay option to start. Can't compare. The quality of some of the bikes of here is just to start, but these guys have a very different quality on bikes. So it's a call you have to take. So then the final question, and we'll open up for your questions, is how do I know the price is right? Right now, there's no formula for price. ඔය ගණන් කියනවා, ඔය ගිල ගන්නවා. ඉතින් මේක ඇවිල්ලා crazy market. But in reality, if you look at a price, it depends on these 7 factors. So, good old days, which means 2019, a hybrid bike, you could have got an easy used bike for about 50,000, which is now 120,000. Main day. A road bike, a basic component road bike used would have been at 75,000. Now I don't even know the price, I'm not even interested to know. A mountain bike. So, just to ask the question, the things that you need to look at when you're taking that call, and of course, bounce it off people who know a bit about bikes, they'll give you an idea and then you have to take a call, right? So, that's it on bike and buying a bike. I said there are 7 things to look at. Do you have any questions that we can answer, ladies and gentlemen? Any question? Sorry? Yeah, I'm coming to frame size. So that question will be answered when we get to bike and body, right? This is my area of expertise, right? So no? Electric bikes are interesting one. My review doesn't even talk about electric bikes. මොකද මේ මම නම් කියන්නේ ඉතින් මේ ඊළඟ 15 hour power cut එකනකොට electric දියව කියලා බයික් එක උස්සන් යන හින්දා මම කියන්නේ when there is a message to simplify එකට plug එකක් ගහගන්න එපා කියලා. හැබැයි ගන්න එක්කන ගත්තර කමන්නේ. ඉතින් මේ දැන් කියන්නේ බයිසිකලයක් ගන්න කියලානේ. ඕකත් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් කරන අය ඉන්නවා මගේ යාළුවෝ. 4 lakhs ගෙවලා ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් බයිසිකල් මම කියනවා මචං I bought electric bike. What do you think? Okay, what do I think about the bike? Is good. Electric, Sri Lanka's electricity comes from coal and diesel. So you bought electric bike මචං. ජය වේවා. You are part of the problem. ඉතින් හරි අමාරුයි. හැබැයි ඇත්ත කතාව ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් බයික් එකක් ගන්නවා කියන්නේ බැටරිය තමයි ගන්නෙ. ඉතින් බැටරිය ගැන අවබෝධයක් ගන්න වෙනවා. මේ බැටරිය මොකක්ද? බැටරි එකේ වොරන්ටි එකක් තියෙනවද? හදිස්සියක් මොනවා වුණොත් බැටරි එක වැඩ කරයිද? ක්ලේම්ස් තියෙනවා, බැටරි charging hour claims තියෙනවා, lasting hours claims. ඒ claims නේ මේවා. ඉතින් electric, if you talk about a proper electric battery, it's all about the battery now. It's like Tesla means what? It's a battery. What else? So then it's about a Bosch. That's the gold standard of battery. That's what a Trek will use. $1.5 million. Anything else is a battery. So you have to take that call and buy it. So kilometer 10ක් 15ක් යන්න නම් I am saying simplify. Postman වගේ හිතන්න. මේ වෙලාවේ කොම්ප්ලිකේට් කරන්න එපා. කාර් එකක් ගන්න, ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් මෝටර් සයිකලයක් ගන්න. පැයට කිලෝමීටර් 25ට යන ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් බයික් එකක් ගන්න එපා. මොකද ටික දවසක් පදිනකොට පුළුවන් වෙනවා. මේ only thing Danis Monari, if you have a major problem, some who are delivery and all that people talk to me, they bought fleets, I advise go and buy it, but with some warranty, otherwise anything goes wrong, right? So they have to know if they are delivering stuff around, then they need, but that's my view. Electric problem, right? So, but it's about the battery. Rest of the bike does no problem, same service, same repairs. Battery repair, that's it on that. අපි ඊට පස්සේ ඉතින් වැස්ස ගැන හිතන්න වෙනවා. හරිද? ඕක ගරගෙන ගෙනියන්න ඕනේ. ගලව බෑග් එකේ දාගන්න ඕනේ. මොකද ඕක උස්සන් ගියොත්. So there's a whole problem around. When you ask to simplify life, I complicate කරගන්න එක I think I'm not a big fan of that. That's my view. Huh? But there were some videos online and all that talking about options. So coming to your question, so bike we spoke now. And bike and body discussion, right? So finding the right size of the bike, how do you figure it out? So you need 2 measurements. Number 1 measurement is your height. Number 2 measurement is your leg length. So when you're measuring your leg length, you have to go on against a wall, use something like a book and push a little bit so that you are almost like in a seat. And measure the leg length. අර ඇඳුමේ ඉන්සීන් බයිනෝගේ මයින්ඩ් එක පොඩක් ප්‍රෙෂර් එක දාලා සයිකල් සීට් එක ඉන්නවා කියලා ලෙවල් එකට මනින්න. ඒ දෙක ගත්තම අපිට සීට් හයිට් එක මේ ෆ්‍රේම් සයිස් එක we can figure out. So how do you find the frame height? From the point where the frame starts all the way to the bottom bracket. In other words, from here in this bike to middle of this point where the crank gets fixed. That's called the frame size of a bike. Okay? From here to here. Not all companies have the same measure. This is just a rough guide, right? And then by the way, there can be a bike which is almost the same outlook but has a top frame going slanted like this. So then එකට එකක් compare කරන්න බෑ. It's just a rough guide. Brand to brand can be different. So when you have these 2 information, this by the way, all these charts are on the video. You have it, you have access to it, all of you. There are 2 charts here. So let's say, what's your height, Maza? 5'11". So okay, you are 5'11". So I don't have your inseam. So let's say you are a 5'10" to 6 here. So if you are buying a road bike, you are looking at a 58 to 60 centimeter frame size. All right? If you are buying a hybrid or a mountain, that chart comes into play. So very valuable question. The question we never ask as kids, dunna මොකක්ද බැස්ලා කරන් ඒගාලේ පදිනවනේ අපි. හැබැයි අදවා because you are using it for something more frequent and you have a purpose, frame size එක වරද්ද ගත්තොත් ඉතින් ටිකක් වැඩේ අවුල් එතන ඉඳලා. It's like getting the wrong partner in your life. එතන ඉඳන් ඉතින් මොනාර කියලා adjust කරගන්න පුළුවන් but මුලදීම වැඩේ අවුල්. wedding එක අවුල්. Marriage is another subject. So there's another little thing you can use which is called the standover height, which means when you stand over the bike, you should be able to put about 3 fingers between your crotch and the top tube. That also gives you an idea, rough idea. Now if you are buying a bit of a established brand in their website, there will be a lot of data. Very interesting, huh? Some of you are tech experts and you know data and you know if and then, right? Software developers, if you are there, you know, I think I fail maths, but I learned maths thanks to bicycles, right? I live with maths now. So you can see our top tube angle, make a standard frame, very interesting frame. When a bike will make angle, some are bikes will killing. So bike to bike, there's a lot of geometry. We call it bike geometry. So you can go to a site of a established brand and see that. So you can find the standover height also. That gives you idea. And roughly, you are looking at this. So bicycle gun එක පොඩ නැගලා බලන්න හිතගෙන මේක නිකන් මට සෙට් වෙනවද කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ obviously hold your handlebars and see whether you are like this or whether you are like that. You need to be comfortable, elbows bent, right? Roughly. Okay. But okay, තියෙනවා පොඩි measurements ටිකක් කරලා අපිට කියන්නත් පුළුවන් මේ එකක් බලන්න කියලා. Those are there are charts online. Spinner has a, I mean those are little things. Send a WhatsApp, we can always help you on those, right? Size බලා ගන්න එක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙවෙයි. But now that you know you need to look at the size, you can get all the help, no issue. So that's about the topic of the frame size of a bike. Any questions on that? Wheel size is not a big issue. So mountain bike has 3 types of wheel size. His question is wheel size. There are 26, 27, 29 kilo. I think if you're a tall person, you might feel a little good on a 29-inch wheel. But road bikes are generally standard size wheel, 700 wheel size. Yeah, I'm coming to that. All right. Okay, let's talk about your question. Cycling economy. Cycling economy means how do I use minimum effort and get the maximum out of a bike. Even if you are racing, that's the game. Whole idea is you have a limited amount of energy. There's amount of calorie you can consume. There's amount of calorie you can take. And how do you manage that economically? So how you sit on the bike matters. So when you sit on a bike, this is the type of leg angle that we are trying to get. As you can see, you look at it when your pedal is right at the bottom. So we call it the bottom of the pedal stroke. So if I take it here, when your pedal is here. So we are looking at a very slight angle like that. So when we do a bike fit, now Spinner, we were the first to introduce it to this part of the world, bike fitting. We are looking at an angle of about 35 degrees, 27 to 40 degrees, right? So when you sit on the bike, we don't want the knee totally out. So you're putting unnecessary pressure on your kneecap. Or we don't want your knee behind. We want your knee roughly aligned to the pedal. When you keep the pedal parallel. Okay, so 2 basic things. The whole idea is to ensure that you have the right pedal stroke. I did a video with Borana and I'll show that video that will give you an idea of that. Any questions? සද්ද වැඩ කරන්නේ.
කියන්නේ වැඩිපුර දාඩිය දාන්නේ නැති වෙන්න පදින විදිය කියලා දෙන්නම් කියලා. මොකද්ද ටෙක්නික් එක කියලා. දැන් අස කොහොමද මේක පදින විදිය එතකොට?
ඔව් දැන් චතුර අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් පෙඩල් ස්ට්‍රෝක් එක නෙමේ අපේ බයිසිකලේ කප්පි සිස්ටම් එකේ දුවන්නේ ඉස්සරහා තියෙන කප්පිය පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන එකත් එක්ක. ඒතකොට දැන් මේ බලන කකුල යන විදිය. ඒතකොට අපි අවබෝධයක් ගන්න ඕනේ මොන මසල් සිස්ටම් එකද මේකට පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒතකොට ගොඩක් අය හිතන් ඉන්නේ කකුලේ මේ ඉස්සරහින් කාෆ් එකෙන් පදිනවා කියලා. හැබැයි ඇත්තටම මෙන්න මෙතනදී අපි කියන 0 point එක නෙමෙයි. මෙතනදී පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ වගේ glute මේ පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන ලොකුම muscle එක. ඒක ඔළුවෙන් හිතන්න ඕනේ.
නැතුව මේක කාෆ් එකට බර දෙන්න
නෑ.
බෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතනින් තද කරන්නේ නැහැ. ටෝ
නෑ. එතකොට මේක එන්න නම් අපි 1 o'clock කියන පොසිෂන් එක තියෙන්නේ. එතන ඉඳන් තමයි මේ කැලල තමයි වැඩිම යන්නේ. ඒතර ඒකේ උඩරිම ගන්න ඕනේ. ඊළඟට ස්මූත්ලි එන්න දෙන්න ඕනේ. දැන් මෙයා එන්ගේජ් ආපහු. ඒතර ඕකම හිතුවොත් මොලෙන් අපේ එකපාරට efficiency වැඩි වෙනවා.
කියන්නේ මෙතන නිකම්ම බයිසිකලේ කකුලට දීලා බෑ මොලෙන් දෙන්න ඕනේ.
අපි හිතා ගන්න මොන මසල් සිස්ටම් එකද යන්නේ කියලා. නැත්නම් අපි නිකන් මහන්සි වෙනවා මුළු සිස්ටම් එක. හැබැයි මෙහෙම මේක එන්ගේජ් කරන්න ඔයා හිතන්න උදාහරණයකට අපි මේ බයිසිකලේ සීට් එක පල්ලෙහාටම දාලා තිබ්බොත් දැන් පල්ලෙහාට දාලා තිබ්බොත් ඔයාට මේක කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? එතකොට බලන්න රයිට් දැන් මෙතන පදින්න බෑනේ දැන් ඔයා හිර වෙලා. මේ මසල් සිස්ටම් එක රිලීස් වෙන්න. ඒකයි අපි හරි ගානට සීට් හයිට් එක හදා ගන්න ඕනේ. රයිට් දැන් මේ බයික් එකේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඒක හදන්න පුළුවන් ලේසියෙන් අනිත් එකේ නට් එකක් තියෙන්නේ. දැන් උදාහරණ හොඳට මුසට ගත්තා කියමු. මේ ගානට. හරි දැන් මේ ගානට ගත්තොත් එහෙනම් පැද ගන්නම බෑනේ. රයිට් එතකොට වෙන්නේ එයා කියන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ. ඒ පිටින්ම මේ මසල් එක පාවිච්චි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් අපි ඉතින් අපි බලන්නේ මේ දණි
හැන්ඩල් එකට සමාන්තරව
බයිසිකලේ බිම තියෙන
I guess you get the picture, right? So, so once again, which muscle do you use the most for cycling? Yeah, your signaling can hold it. English is okay. But you have to use your butt, glute, right? This is your largest muscle. So how do you engage that? You have to consciously engage that. If you're like this won't even move. If you're too high, you are just scraping. So how do you engage your bum muscle? By setting the seat height accordingly. Now, if you have brought a small bike frame, careful, seat එක උස්සද්දී there has to be enough seat tube. නැත්නම් ඕක ගැලවිලා වැටිලා බෙල්ල කඩා ගන්නවා, right? There has to be adequate amount. Then you have to get a new seat tube. Carefully කරන්න ඕනේ, right? You have to be very, very conscious about that. So that's a game changer. You might find you are getting a lot more power out of your bike just by making that change, and your speed will start improving. So අපි ආදී දාඩිය දාන්න නැතුව අද මම බයිසිකල් පැදලා තියෙන්නේ තලවතුරේ ඉඳන් මෙතෙන්ට I came within 30 minutes. So efficiency එක හදාගත්තම you suddenly realize you are just getting the best out of the power that you are generating. So obviously that needs your seat part discussed. There was a question here about seats. So you can see I'm also using a narrow seat. Why can't you use that papa seat that used to be the big one with springs? So first of all, if you haven't cycled for a long time and you start today, පස්ස පැත්ත රිදෙනවා. මොකද ඔයා glute exercise කරලා නැත්තම්. Most of the time we do this exercise, that exercise, but we don't work out your bum. So there are some exercises to strengthen your back muscle. Of course, padinna it will also get better. So you have to do some outside the bike work to be able to comfortable on the bike. Now we are absolutely happy with this is a comfortable seat. Because bigger the seat, you become inefficient. More bouncy seat means your mountain bike වගේ. පදින්න shock එක තමයි උඩ පාරට යන්නේ. You are not going forward. So more stuff you put, the efficiency of the bike goes away. But I agree totally, comfort is the number one priority. But to get comfortable, you need to start doing some work on you, a body, to help you to get the best out of the bike. So, but I know seats can become extremely uncomfortable. Most expensive seats can also be extremely uncomfortable. So seat is a personal choice. It's a personal choice to make. So narrow saddles question, I want to answer that, right? So bike sizing we've discussed. We've discussed a bit about body. So do you have some exercises that you generally do that might help cycling? What type of exercises? Will a squat help? Yeah, it does. But if you can do a single leg, it's better because cycling is a single leg sport. Got it, right? By doing single leg, you also build stability. This builds strength. But when you're on one leg, there's a lot of movement. So yoga stuff and all that are single, right? So few exercises that help specifically cycling. And also remember, this stroke needs a core muscle to be engaged all the time. Lot of core movement. So front core, side core, back. your planks. This is like has to be part and parcel of life. Side. So stronger core anyway will help you, for posture. Posture. So core is crucial. So if your core is strong, your glute is strong, stability is good, you will see that every effort you put on the bike, you're getting a very different outcome out of it. And your economics of cycling improves. Because the wastage is minimal. It's a lovely stroke. It's a very fluent stroke. Because cycle is one of the most efficient automations of the history of mankind. In the 1800s, the other one being the Mahanamashima. These two things changed the world. Today, they're still at their same form, almost, and they're still doing the job as it was intended to do. But we as humans have become a little inefficient. We as මෙහෙම හිටන් හිටියේ නෑ ඉස්සර මිනිස්සු. ඉතින් අපි සම්පූර්ණ inefficient වෙලා අපි එයා ඇවිල්ලා බයිසිකල් නැග්ගම obviously ආට අර තියෙන end optimum won't come in. So do a bit of physical work. Some of this I showed you can do even daily. So bike sizing is about the base of your physics, right? But bike fitting, which is a subject Spinner was the first to introduce it in this part of the world, is looking at your physical condition and etc. and adjusting the bike to suit you. So that's another subject that we do at Spinner, but let's leave that on another day. Then comes the efficiency when you see a hill. How many of you love hills? කඳුවලට ආසාය. කන්දක් දැකගම හාප්පෝ කන්දක් කියලා. ඔව් එහෙම ඉතිච්ච ගමන්ම කන්ද අමාරු වෙනවා. So you have to be mentally ready to take a challenge. So if you are mentally ready, that's number one, because part of bicycle is ups and downs. Unlike a car, even a small gradient you will feel. Parliament Road also in a car is flat, but on a bicycle there are ups and downs, and you can enjoy that if you know what you're doing. So this is the fun part of bicycle, and this is the physics. So your weight, the wind speed, ඔක්කොම nature එකේ තියෙන ඒවා ඊයරක පුන්දියා 40 ඔක්කොම මේකට බලපානවා. ඉතින් හරි ජොලි ඉතින් if you can work on this, and if you improve the game, you can. So some of us love to climb. We love the climb. So අපි බයික් එකේ weight එක ගැන හිතන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපේ weight එකත් පොඩ්ඩ අඩු කරගන්න එක ලාභයි බයිසිකල් එකට වඩා. Said that ඉතින් කොච්චර weight තිබ්බත් flat road එකේ දැන් මේකේ momentum එක කිසි අවශ්‍යයක් නැහැ යනවා. So little bit about that. I don't know whether you have any specific questions about climbing. There was a question about gearing. So gears නැත්තම් වැඩ ලේසි. Now this is a single gear. How many of you are single here? All are married. No one else is single. So පොඩක් shape නේ මචං life එක නේ මේ දවස්වල ප්‍රශ්න කීයක් ළමයි හිටියා නම් මේ දවස්වල කණ්ඩ දෙන්න ඕනේ තෙල්ල ගේන්න ඕනේ ඉස්කෝලේ දාන්න ඕනේ. So single life apparently මම දන්නේ නැහැ because I'm married. මතක නැහැ දැන් right? Apparently simple. gear තිබ්බා කියන්නේ මචං gear වැටෙන්නේ නැති වෙනවා. ඕකේ පොඩ්ඩක් tuning out ගහනවා. So try to start with a single gear bike. I live on a single gear. But of course I am okay with gears. But if you have gears, it's going to help you to climb, especially කඳු නගින්න gears ලේසි වෙනවා. So මේක හරි සරලයි කප්පි subject එකක් තියෙන්නේ. but ඉතින් මේක පොඩ්ඩක් පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ වැඩේ අල්ල ගන්න. දැන් කන්දක් පේනකොට ඔයා දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේ කන්දට මම මේ gear එක දාගත්තොත් ලේසි වෙනවා. That's the fun part. That's the pre-planning. That's the decision making. So this is a simple equation for you. If you are on a normal road, ඉතින් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් gears ඉස්සරහ තුනක් තියෙනවා නම් මැද එකට හරි උඩ එකට දාලා මේ ඕන එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. ගොඩක් දුරට මැද ඉඳි. But if it's a hill, very tough one. Tough for you, might be tough for me, for somebody else, right? You try to be in the back of the bike. උඩ තමයි ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඉස්සරහ පොඩි එකේ. Then only your wheel spins. එක තැන කරකිනකොට කන්ද හැමින් you will start climbing. So guys, again, a bit of trial and error, a bit of internet, you will figure out how to use the gears best. Do a bit of research. This is not difficult. If you know how to operate a microwave and a fridge, if you know how to code, I mean, most of you guys are tech people, this can't be difficult, right? Java, Python, pulana make a pulwa. But we make a alla ganno hariyata. Again, එකට හිතන්න right ලවතු ගොඩ ඉඳන් මෙතෙන්ට යද්දී මාදි වෙලා කන්දර මම මේ so ඒක you know there's a bit of thoughts around that මද නැවතුනොත් දැන් traffic ගාව නැවතුනොත් එහෙම අපි lazy gear එකකට දා ගන්නවා ඉස්සරහට පදින so little things like that is a fun part around it. Okay, right, what you try to avoid is cross gearing because you don't want the chain crossing. If it's a low quality chain ඉතින් පොඩක් snap වෙන ගතියක් තියෙනවා. දැන් හොඳ chain නම් මේවා handle කරන්න පුළුවන්. But try not to do that, right? So that's on the gearing part. How are you doing so far? Good. Friends, are we good? So let me introduce our cycling guru, Mr. Bean. I don't know whether you watched the movie. Some super stuff comes from him, right? So maybe our goals are cool එකේ වැඩට යන්න postman දැන් වැඩට යද්දි හත්ති දාගෙන නෑනම ලස්සනට ලියුම් ටික බෙදලා අපිට හායි කියලා ඇඟේ දාඩිය බින්දුවක් නැහැ ෂර්ට් එක ලස්සනට ඇඳලා cool එකේ ගෙදර යනවා හවසට 7000 postmen they don't sweat and kill themselves on bicycles no. So if your goal is to relax and ride, that's your plan. This is how you would ride it cool. But if you want a bit of speed, that's when you need to look at all these little things. Once in a while හදිසියක් වෙලා කලබල යන්න වුණොත් මොනාර ගේන්න හරි ස්පීඩ් එක ඕන වුණොත් එහෙම we have to understand why people get a little bit bent like this when they are riding a bicycle. හැබැයි එහෙම මෙන්න පදින්නත් ඉතින් core strength එක ටිකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. core strength එක නැත්තම් වෙන්නේ ගිහිලා handle bar එක මෙහෙම අල්ල ගන්නවා. මොකද core එක strong නැති හින්දා මේක තමයි අල්ලන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මෙහෙම joke වෙන්න ගන්නවා මෙතන තමයි මුළු effect එකම. So all the vibrations finally comes to your shoulders and then you say මසම් බෙල්ලරි දෙනවා අරකරි දෙනවා because your core is not strong. That's the root cause. Got it? So there you go. I think you see in racers and people trying to find some speed හොයාගන්න එක විදියක් තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් විතර නැවුනොත් you will see that you're cutting through air. මොකද 80% of your energy generated goes to cut through හුළඟ. You are resistant in swimming, it's water, here it's air. So today was a very tough day for me coming with all of this Parliament Road වතුරත් එක්ක මුළු හුළඟම එනවා so you can feel the wind. දවසම හුළං අද ඉතින් අද යද්දී I'm sure I'll be having a tailwind but in the morning it was all about headwind. So එකින් විනාඩි දෙකක් තුනක් I got late. So have you seen අපේ රේස් පදින මල්ලිලා එම කාර් බස් පිටිපස්සේ යනවා බය බෑනේ because they're just getting dragged unbelievable. So here's what happens on a bike, right? So this is the topic that I am a little involved in called Aerodynamics of Cycling. How your body attracts all the air and air එක පිටිපස්සේ creates turbulence, right? ඉතින් ඒ shape එක අනුව turbulence අඩු වෙන්න වෙනවා fast වෙනවා. ඉතින් මෙහෙම හිටගෙන හිටියොත් මේ ඔක්කොම හුලං වාගේ ඇඟේ. දැන් මේ helmet එක දාගෙන ගියොත් ටිකක් slow වෙනවා. හරි මොකද ඒකේ හුලං අස්ස ඔක්කොම යනවා turbulence. දැන් මේ helmet එක සමහර වෙලාවට කියන්න බෑ ඒත් shape එක අනුව හුලං ඇවිල්ලා ගානට මෙහෙම tail එකක් විදියට ගියොත් එහෙම you become same as a Formula 1 car. This is a very interesting subject. If you have interest in this topic, connect with me. This is my area, okay? So, I can put it clear for you to get interested if you want to. So that's the piece on economy.
So today, equipment like cut through the wind, like to fix in front of the bike.
There are bike technology today, wheels. There's a lot of research and development done, but the biggest equipment is you. So 80% of all your aero drag, we call it the coefficient of aero drag, right? CDA, coefficient of drag, is you. So not because you're a big person, even the way you are on the bike, all of that helps. What is covering your skin, suits, just like in, how the air goes. Okay, ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. For marginal guess, ඔක බලපාන ඉතින් පාට කිලෝමීටර් 35 40ට පැද්දොත් කිලෝමීටර් 15ට 20ට යද්දී ඔක අදගත් නැහැ. But this is interesting area for you to look at. Yes, there's so much of technology. And the helmet, that's the biggest part. ඔලිය තමයි ඉස්සෙල්ලම හුලං වදින්නේ, right? So අපි ඉස්සර කරගෙන ඇවිල්ලාම හිටියොත් හරි කියලා. ඒක එකක් නැහැ. ඒ වාගේ ඇඟ through යන විදිය. Correct how stable you are. So nothing to do with bike to work. This is just to show you there's more and more interesting areas about this subject of bicycle. Let's talk about safety equipment. And I'm big on this. We have to promote this. So many people ගෙදර දෙන බැසියක් අරගෙන අරවා ඩිලිවර් කරනවා, පික්පි ඩිලිවර් කරනවා, උබ ඩිලිවර් කරනවා. ඒ ළමයි මුකුත් හිතලා නැහැ. අයියෝ ඒක දැක්කම ඇඬෙනවා. කොයි වෙලේ ඇක්සිඩන්ට්, we are waiting for something negative to happen. So පාරේ ඕගොල්ලොත් යද්දි දැක්කොත් පොඩ්ඩක් ඇඩ්වයිස් කරන්න. දැන් මම නම් යන ගමන් දාගෙන යනවා මේ අවුරුදු 10 ඉඳන් කරනවා මේ ලයිට් එකක් මිනිස්සුන්ට දෙනවා පොඩි ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් තියෙනවා බ්ලින්කින් ලයිට්ස් කියලා. at least කියන්න මල්ලි මේ ලයිට් එකක් දාගන්න, මේ වගේ දෙයක් කරගන්න, සීට් එක හදාගන්න, පේන්නේ. So there's a lot of stuff on safety. Number one being the helmet. So this is the helmet that we all love to wear. Unfortunately now some of these have become extremely expensive. So I have started a project called Yellow Hat Movement. We took the construction hat, සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හැම කාඩ් බෑග් එකම තියෙනවා. මේක රුපියල් 1000ක් 1500ක් විතර අපි නම් මේකේ මේ අර රිෆ්ලෙක්ටර් එකක් දානවා. Serves the purpose because a lot of people can't afford a 12,000 rupee helmet මචං. බයිසිකලයක් ගන්නත් යන ගාන ඉස්සර ඒ ගාන. So check that out. Then people used to wear vests, right? And නෑ ඉතින් මේ රට බංකලොත් රටක් නේ ඇත්ත කතාව. ඒතර අපිත් නිකන් හයි ලෙවල් එකකින් ඔක්කොම කරන්න නෙමෙයි. අපි ප්‍රායෝගික වෙන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? දැන් මේක කැතයි කියලා හිතන්න පුළුවන්. තව මාස 6ක් යනකොට ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු මේක ඇන්දර පස්සේ අසස්ට කියන්නේ අසස් අන්න yellow hat එක දාගෙන කට්ටිය දැන් මේක දාගෙන පදිනවා. We started this because මචං මේ අවුලේ මොකද්ද වෙස්ට් එකකුත් දාගත්තොත් අර පාරේ දාගෙන යන ඇමරිකාවේ එංගලන්තේ වෙස්ට් ටාන් පදර මෙහෙ පදින්න බෑ. So this makes a lot of sense because this is adjustable and this is cheap. Okay? So use what's available. The other, I forgot my light. My real light is not there. So how was I this is a lot more visible, right? So we have to be really, really practical. So this is a lifesaver. This is important. Anything else, right? Your reflectors, your front light, your rear light are the part and parcel of things you need to have. Bell එකක්, all that is important. Any questions you have? This one at spinner. Okay. Number 3 spoon baza. Why spoon? Because then has a patch එකක් ගියොත් you need the tire levers නේ. දැන් සමහර tires මචං අපින් ගලවන්න බෑ. මේක ගලවන්න සමහර ඒවා if you are really good at it you can, but some tires are very difficult. So we use what we call a tire lever, right? දැන් පාර patch එකක් ගියොත් විනාඩි 5 patch එකක් දාගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Okay, the tire levers නෑ කියමුකෝ. So මේ හැඳි දෙකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ teaspoon දෙකක් තිබ්බොත් අර දාලා check the video on how to put a patch on spinner. I have already talked about it, right? So we have to think of practical options. As you can see, I have a tube. So I have a small pump just in case. හැබැයි ඉතින් වැඩට එද්දි මේව ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණොත් උදේ ඉතින් 3 wheel එකක් තයි. ඉස්සරහ 3 wheel එකක් එන්නේ. ටක් ගාලා ටයර් එකක් ගලව ගත්ත, TV එක දාගත්ත, ආවා පස්සේ හදාගන්න. But then you being able to get a quick patch done is a simple skill you need to have. Huh? You can exactly. So, I mean, just watch the video. Of if you are a little good at, when you're good at it, 5-10 minutes, you can get a patch done. Tag ගාලා පුළුවන් patch එක. දැන් අපිට මේ ඔක්කොම බෑ කියලානේ කාටරි කියලා සපත්තු පොලිෂ් කරලා තම්මලා දුන්න රටක්නේ. හරිද? ඒ බබාලා වගේ හදලා දැන් අහනවා මම patch එකක් දානවා. මම අහනවා වැස්සොත් මොකද කරන්නේ කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ bicycle පාරේ යනකොට මචං what do you do when it rains? මම අහනවා මේ මෝටර් සයිකල් පදින යාළුවෙක් නැද්ද කියලා. එයාගෙන් පොඩ්ඩක් අහනවා වැස්සම මොනවද කරන්නේ කියලා ඒකට කියලා දෙයි කියලා. I mean we have become dumb. Bad dumb as a country. අලුත් අදහසුත් නැහැ. common sense උත් නැහැ මචං. ඉතින් කොහොමද මේක හදන්නේ? 225ට හදන්න පුළුවන් නම් ඉතින් වෙන මොකද්ද? ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. ඉතින් I don't know man, we have real problems. We were talking a little while ago about the education system. ඉතින් බයිසිකල් පදින්න කියනවා නෙමෙයි, but basic common sense උත් නැති ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා, right? ඉතින් වැස්සනම් වෙන්නේ අරකට කියපු ටක් ගාලා බැංකු තියෙනවා, right? ගස් තියෙනවා. ලංකාවේ වැස්සක් විනාඩි 15 minutes වලට වඩා ලංකාවේ වැස්සක් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හිටින්නේ නැහැ. ඕන වැස්සක් 20 minutes එංගලන්තේ නම් දවසම වයින්නවනේ. මෙහෙම වයින්න යක්කා වගේ වැහලා ටක් ගාලා එක ඊට පස්සේ ටේප් එක යන්න තියෙන්නේ. But I have to do is get some mud guards දාගන්න ඕනේ. I don't have because I generally am okay with it. So okay, cool. I think you got the idea. Anything else? So Allen key එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ if your bike needs Allen key, otherwise 15 wrench එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ පිටිපස්සේ nut එකක් ගලවන්න උනොත් basic ටිකක් ගන්න. right? ලොකු ගණන් යන්නේ නැහැ මේවා. All right, helmet. What's the right answer? Guys online can also put the right answer. කලබල වෙන්න එපා. Which one? The physical ones we won't reward. No? Online, do we have still people? Are they still there? Are they giving answers? Can you ask? Huh? Okay, the first one will give you a gift. Okay, so who says C? Okay, so you are getting it. I decide I'm the boss, right? You are getting a gift, Maza. Harida, you have a bicycle? Congratulations. So your right answer is C. So between your forehead, your eyebrow, you need to have about 2 fingers, right? That's the idea. Too much you can't see, too high your forehead is exposed. So if you have kids, or my kids cycle to school, early morning to swimming at 4 a.m., 4:30 they ride. So you have to see whether they are on track, they have the lights, they put a balan on it. So we have a bit of responsibility to see that they are safe, so helmet is a lifesaver. Head injury, it's obvious, right? So think about that. So you already named the right answer. Well done. What do you think? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, it's not safe. Only thing is safe is his bicycle. He has bought a lock. Makes sense, Maza. That's what's worth for him. But head's not safe. Not safe. So in your companies, you got to have this conversation. If somebody is doing the right thing, celebrate it, put it up, share a picture. So I'm sure you're also trying to put little clubs, communities, so share a lot about the do's and don'ts, not to run down some, පොඩි කාලේ මුකුත් නැතුව bicycle පැද්දේ. ඔයයි මයි මේව දාලාද පැද්දේ. But අපි දැන් පොඩක් responsibility මේක කරද්දී we need to promote the right things. But that doesn't mean helmet එකක් නැතුව මිනිහට පාර යන්න බෑ කියන එක. But let's do the right thing, right? Not to discriminate, but let's do the right thing. So whenever you are getting out of the house, ask this question ABC of cycling. Just to check everything is in order. Anybody knows what ABC stand for? What's our time now? How are we on time? Yeah, in about 10 minutes we can finish and Q&A. Is that okay? All right, cool. So somebody won a gift, right? Do we know who won the gift? Whoever gave the first answer online. And friend in red color on. What's your name, Mother? Dushan. And what company? Oh, Dialogue. Excellent. All right. So, but hashtag yellow hat movement, that's our thing. No, the truth is, Mazang, if a kid will wear a helmet, that's what we want. This is affordable anywhere in, can Jaffna unat gila hardware again ganna pulanne? Because so many people on the roads now, and it's a matter of time we are going to get the bad news. And then we'll say, then now guys will come and say, stop everyone. Because we are all knee-jerk, suddenly wake up and do things, right? So as companies, if Sluscom, you guys want to do something, I mean, for 10 years we've been doing this safety project, giving lights out, right? If your companies are keen, we will love to work with you. These don't cost much, but it costs time, volunteerism. These are things we could do, right? So look at options. I know you're a powerful team. There's a lot you can do for cycling, and this is the time to do something. A, B, C of cycling stands for, before you get out of the house, check your air. Wrong place, you get a patch or you lose air, that's enough for accident. Check your brakes. The most important part of your bike is your brakes. So check your brakes front and back, see whether it works, check things are in order, okay? Check if there's something stuck in between, because when you want it, if it doesn't work, well, that's too late, right? Then I've broken parts of my leg when the chain breaks, turn it around, shake the crank. So see එකෙන් එනවා chain එක මේකට කියන්නේ crank එක හොයලා බලන්න මේවා ගැලවෙනවා සමහරලාට පැදලා think about how many revolutions for a minute, and these are not going to stay in one place forever, no. So ඒක පොඩක් බලන්න ඕනේ. C එකෙන් එනවා chain එක crank එක ඊළඟට මේ පිටිපස්සේ කැසට් එක. So all the factors on seat, check your bike before you get on it. Because we don't have an airbag, right? We don't have a seat belt. So in an accident, very rarely happens, or some breakdown, well, we are subject to our luck, that's it. So check, right? ABC. So ABC quick check, අපේ සමහර ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා quick release එකක්. Anyone who has a quick release? Not the nut. If you have a quick release, I think කවුරු හරි ජොලියරට ගලවලා තිබ්බොත් ගෙදරට ආපු 5-year-old කෙනෙක් මේ හොල්ලලා තිබ්බනම් උදේ යද්දි රෝදයයි එහෙම වයයි මෙහෙම. That's enough. So please check the wheels, right? So always remember A, B, C quick check. A, B, C quick check before you get on the bike every day morning, right? You've seen people, they take it seriously, right? You're on the road and do that and then have fun. So that's the point on that. You guys are the smart guys, you guys are the tech guys. So a lot of people use this app called Strava. It's a good app to track your rides, compare with others, get routes, all of that. But a lifesaver app is WhatsApp live location. So if you got a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, kids, put in your WhatsApp live so they know where you are. So now I've got a 16-year-old. I've somehow managed to not give him a smartphone until his next birthday. So he calls me 3 times in the morning from 3 places, so I know where he is. So, but when I give the smartphone in any big events we do, even race the pearl type of events, we have the live location, so we know where the person is, right? So I think tech people, the country has, why are we sending dollars to Strava, man? Sri Lanka can do more stuff. These are opportunities for you to do something. Happy to work on those. So that's it. And last one is the road. Anyone has any questions? All right. Road, a lot of people think is horrible. Why? Because you haven't been on the road for a long time. Car එක යනවා කියන්නේ road එක යනවා කියනවා නෙමෙයි. Car එක කියන්නේ AC cubicle එකක්. ඒක ඇතුලේ ඉඳන් if you look at the road is horrible. So if you look at the road, you will find few types of vehicles. Which ones are the biggest problem? Select one. Who says 3-wheelers are the biggest problem in the country? Buses are the biggest problem. 3-wheelers are the biggest problem. Buses are the biggest problem. What is your problem? No problem. Now decide. देखेगा 3-wheel को 3-wheel. Buses? Motorcycle? Okay, I'm not an expert on this. This is pure experience, no research, right? So I'll tell you about buses, right? The issue with buses is they can't see you if you're close because they're at a different height. Okay? So I'm very concerned when a bus comes next to me because the guy is looking at the world at this level and I'm here. That's my only problem. And of course, buses are businesses, which means they are running for their turn, like John Keel's dialogue. And hopefully they are ethical. Most corporates, I'm not telling these companies, ලංකාවේ තියෙන companies භාගය ethical නැහැ. ඉතින් බස් කාර්යයත් එහෙම තමයි කඩම් බිඳන් ගිහලා revenue generate කරලා profit හොයන්නේ හදන්නේ. අනිත් එකට ඉස්සෙල්ලා යන එක තමයි උගේ වැඩේ. So ඒ competition එකේ අපිත් අහු වුණොත් කරුමේ තමයි. Top 100 companies and buses, I don't see a big difference. They are all revenue driven නේ පව්. අපිව මරන්න නෙමෙයි හදන්නේ. ඌ හදිස්සි යනවා. But everything they can't see. Now cars are a problem because cars are not looking at the windscreen, they are looking at the phone screen. Thank you, dialogue. හරිද? ඒක තමයි එකම ප්‍රශ්නේ. Almost rarely have problem with these guys. You know why? You can see them coming, they can hear you, we have eye contact. So they're actually your friends. The difference on a bicycle is you see a lot more than a motorbike. We can see, we can hear. So if you are initially තියෙන nervousness එක ගියාට පස්සේ initially ඉතින් bicycle යන්න බයක් තියෙනවනේ. ඊට පස්සේ වාට ටිකක් comfort එකක් එනවා. ඉතින් 3 million 4 million motorbikes on the road, 2 million 3-wheelers. ඒගොල්ලොත් එක්ක තමයි යන්නේ. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට left side of the road is that. So generally motorcycle එකල ජීවිතේ හැප්පෙන්නේ. හැප්පිලා touch whatever. හරි අඩුයි. එහෙම වුණත් නවත්තනවා මල්ලි අයියා අර ටිකක් colourful language එකක් ඔයාලට පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් if you know the words. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඒවා තේරෙනවා ගහගන්න ඉන්නේ. අඩෝ කියන්න පුළුවන්, මචං කියන්න පුළුවන්, හායි කියන්න. You can hear. කාර් එකේ අර එක්සිකියුටිව් අංකල් ආන්ටි ඇවිල්ලා හැප්පෙන කරන් දන්නේ නැහැ. එයා ඉන්නේ ෆෝන් එක බලන්න යන්නේ. So there is a bit of a challenge. So you got to know what your surrounding is, right? So that's about cars. Any views, Mazam? You have experience. Do you agree with me or? Okay, we'll have a chat as we go. Cars නවත්තලා තිබ්බොත් තෙල් පොලිමක නම් මචං යන්න නම් එපා දොර අරිනවමයි ෆෝන් එක කනේ දාන් අරපු ගමන් උඩින් තමයි right car doors will open කියලා life එකේ තියන් ඉන්න කාර් එකක් දැක්කොත් දොර අරිනවාමයි එතකොට you are ready okay so that's a fact කොහොමත් අපේ selfish මිනිස්සු self awareness උත් නැහැ social awareness උත් නැහැ ඔහේ තමන්ගේ වැඩේ තමයි කරන්නේ right එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවා රටක් විදියට right ඉතින් ඒකින්ද you have to be very very careful about car doors and now anyway one lane අරන් තියෙන්නේ තෙල් පොලිම right you have to be very careful of that horning behind when you are riding big on pop මොකක්ද හිතන්නේ එනවාද වචන ටික යාලනවනේ මටත් එහෙම ඉස්සර තිබ්බකම මම දැන් හිතන්නේ මචං කනගාවෙන් යනවට වඩා හොඳයි හයියෙන් හෝන් ගහන හින්දා I actually am happy that people are horning. I like it. ඉස්සර යකා නගිනවා මචං බස් හෝන් එකක් ගැහුවම your kana goes to another level. I of course big ears but I rather prefer somebody honking than so ඉස්සරට තරහා යන්නේ නැහැ දැන්. ඒක සතුටෙන් මම බාර ගන්නවා. හොන් ගාලා ගන්න ඒකට පොඩ්ඩක් අප්සෙට් ගහනවා right ඒ අර ලංකාවේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙන හෝන් එකකින් එළවෙන. But generally that's all. But if you are a driver don't do that මචං. Okay? If you are a driver and your friends are drivers, slowly we'll encourage them to keep about 3 feet, right, when you are passing a motorist. පාරවල ගොඩක් potholes තියෙනවා කියපුවා ලංකාවේ. ඇත්තද? කොළඹ පාරවල් වල නම් නැහනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් කොයිද ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ පාරවල් වලවල් තියෙන්නේ? මේ කොළඹම තියෙනවා. මෙතන මේ කොළඹ heart එකේ but Parliament Road all the way to Rajagiri the roads are brilliant. Out of Colombo, roads are unbelievable. We go around the country every year now. Absolutely no problem. Hema loku issues ne. Roads.
I think it's about
yes. Oh, the මේ වගේ එකක් පේනවනේ මසන් ඉතින් ඒක ඉතින් පොඩක් බලන් ඒක දැනගන්න ඕනේ. But I agree. පොඩි ඒවා you have to watch out. Those are the unassuming one. You try to take your phone, you hit that small one, that little thing unsettles you, bang, you're gone. So the ones to worry about, the little ones, because the big ones are almost not there. At least I do. The rail tracks, you know it's there, no manjang. If you're comfortable, ride over it. If you're uncomfortable, walk over it. Okay, cycling and walking goes together. I'll talk about it. Wherever you're uncomfortable, you've seen my video, right? Just walk. Get down and walk. Don't take chances. What for? I'll show that video in a minute. So this event we did Cycling Sunday, if you remember, we closed the road and all that, right? So we obviously did a lot of work on road safety because we were putting kids on the road. Now, when you're riding, let's say you have a route. I ride, let's say, from Talabatu to Dialogue every day. I have to study my route. I have to study each junction. I have to plan. I need to know what to expect. So tell me, you know this route. This is Kimbulavala, Parliament Ground, all the way, let's say, Racecourse. Mona handiyada wedding risky. You have to do your risk analysis. What's the riskiest junction? Horton Place, but make it better, but okay. මේ route එකේ දැන් මේව ආවා Parliament Ground, Japan Friendship, Parliament Ground, Rajagiriya, past the bridge, come all the way, Devi Balika, Kanatta, ඕමන යන්නේ මේක? Yeah, absolutely right. Devi Balika is a horrible one. කනත්තත් පොඩි එකක් තියෙන දෙවිබාලි ගහම මොකද අතනින් ගෝල්ෆ් ක්ලබ් එක පැත්තෙන් එනවා හරි ඒ නීගෝ එක්කනේ ගෝල්ෆ් ගහන කට්ටිය ඒ පැත්තෙන් එනවා හරිද අර පැත්තෙන් ඇවිල්ලා කොටාර රෝඩ් යන එක තමයි ඩෙඩ්ලි killing යනවා එකක් disaster. So what we did was we ensured that whole right people use the yellow crossings තමයි පාවිච්චි කරේ. So wherever you are not sure always use the yellow crossings. And if your kids are riding it's okay maza. It's not an ego thing no. So I guess that's the type of planning you need to do. අවසාන වශයෙන් අපි බල්ලෝ ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරමු. බල්ලන්ගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න ආපුවා ඉන්නවද? ලංකාවේ ඉන්නවා පර බල්ලෝ සහ හොඳ බල්ලෝ. Do you know that? ගොඩාක් බල්ලෝ 90ක් හොඳයි. නිකන් උඹුරලා යනවා කලබල වුනේ නැත්තම් ෂේප්. ඉතින් බත් ඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගන්න බල්ලෝ ස්ටඩි කරන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? ලංකාවේ ගොඩාක් බෞද්ධයෝ පන්සල් වලට බල්ලෝ දාන දෙන හින්දා පන්සල් ආශ්‍රිතව ගොඩාක් බල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා. right? ඉතින් පන්සල් තියනවා කියලා දන්නවනම් ඒරියා එක සෑහෙන ෂුවර් ඒ හරිය බල්ලෝ වැඩි ප්‍රතිශතයක් ඉන්නවා. right? ඉතින් හොඳ බල්ලෝ ඉන්නවා. දැන් මේ බල්ලෙක් වගේ සෙට් වුණොත් what do you do? active මචං. බුරාගෙන යනවා මොනා කරන්නේ? sorry. What's the solution? මොනවද කරන්නේ බල්ලෙක් ආවම? Yeah, you stop මචං. Just stop and get down. 99% of the time things get settled off. Okay, I think වාගේ පරණම boyfriend girlfriend පරණ ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඇවිල්ලා හපයි, but that's like a very rare. Just get down and walk and generally things are okay, right? Oh, I'm not here. There is discussion that done. I also try, right? So, now there is more people belong into your now. Like when they must say, yeah, in the gamut, yeah, in the momentum, एक खड़ने पे आक करो, पिछले का क्या हुआ, वेन साक करो, yeah, ऐसा now तो हम आए नहीं gamut. So obviously you have to be careful, obviously, because what you don't want is a balla coming and you go into the other side of the road, because you're on the left, right side is a car. So that's what you're asking for trouble, right? मैं कहूँ लोग हम बेला तीनों दा पारे दी किसी में शुरुआत करने बा कोई पत्ते इंगिया तैयार होने पत्ते रह रहे ने so might as well stop and let it pass. Out of Colombo, Yala, you will find elephants. सामान्य अलीफ पास करने ने नेट्टा पत्ते इंदे होंडे वाले पत्ते इंदे पुलवाना पास नो करे इन right. Finally, amaru masata make. This goes in your eye majang. That's when you do that, and that's when you lose control. Especially at speed, this is the biggest one. So wearing some eyewear helps. Make a frequency ready, yeah? Huh? This rakuna. I think padre mo athawa danne kochchara ka ඇහි ලොකු එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඕක කරා නම් ඇති ඒ ටික වෙනස් වෙන්න. But be careful if you are not sure, don't try it. Sit, stop and drink. නැත්නම් යන ගමන් ඉතින් අපිට පුරුදු මේව බීලා මම ඒ වැටිලා තියෙනවා ෂෝල්ඩර් කැඩෙන්න වතුර බොන්න ගිහිල්ලා රේස් පදෙද්දි. So it needs a bit of practice. Always stop and drink. Dialogue is here. So this is what you have created for Sri Lanka. Phone එකක් නැතුව අපිට ඉන්නම බෑ. ඉතින් ආන්සර් කරන්න WhatsApp ගහන්න. මේම බිම බැලුවා නම් උඩ බලද්දි කවුරු හරි දාලා ඇති. ඒ ටික ඇති ඉතින් මේම ගිහිල්ලා යන්න. So all are unnecessary, unforced errors. 99% of the time, if you are sensible, common sense, and මොකද්ද මම කරන්නේ ඔළුවේ තිබ්බනම් you are generally okay on the road. By the way, we are slower than a motorcycle. We have more control than a motorcycle. We can see more than a motorcycle. We can hear more than a motorcycle. And there are 4 million motorcycles in the road, more than cars and three-wheelers put together. Then if you ask, is bicycle safe? Of course, it's safer than a motorcycle. So you can see it's the safest road transport option available. Plus we can take to a pavement, bari mula pavement එකකට දාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්, තල්ලු කරන් හරි යන්න පුළුවන්. So අපිට ගොඩාක් options එක තමයි පාරේ ඉන්නේ. So එහෙම බලුවම obviously safer relatively. So yes, in this video, it's already on the Spinner Cycling YouTube channel. Bicycling, let's get together. To work, ගැන කතා කරද්දී අපි ගොඩක් දේවල් ගැන bicycling වෙලා bike to work bicycling වලට යන bike to work ගැන කතා කරද්දී bicycling වලට යන bike to work කල්පනා කරන වෙලාවක් මේක. අපි ගොඩක් දේවල් ගැන කල්පනා කරන වෙලාවක් මේක. අපි හැමතිස්සම hand signals දාන්න ඕනේ. අපි හැමතිස්සම hand signals දාන්න ඕනේ. වාහනය පිටිපස්සෙන් එන වාහනයකට පුළුවන් හැමතිස්සම ඉස්සරහින් එන වාහනය පිටිපස්සෙන් එන වාහනයකට පොඩි වතුර පාරක් තිබ්බත් මඩවලක් තිබ්බත් අපි එක පොඩි වතුර පාරක් දාන්න මඩවලක් අතර මඩවලින් යන එක පාරක් දාන්න ඒ අවදානම ගන්න මඩවලින් යන එක හොඳයි ඒ අවදානම ගන්න නැතුව නවත්තලා තියෙන වාහනයක අපි පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. නවත්තලා තියෙන වාහනයක පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕනේ. දොරට මොනවද කරන්නේ? පොඩි මේකෙන් අපි නේරෙන්න නවත්තපු මොනවද කරන්නේ? So a few thoughts there guys. Signal light නම් වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ ලංකාවේ. දකුණට දැම්මොත් වමට, වමට දැම්මොත් දකුණට. So what we normally do is we try to see where the wheel is turning rather than where the signal light is going. When you don't expect things to work, it's easy. sure නේ වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. Then you are well prepared and you don't try to overdo things. And if you are in doubt, stop, that's it. And life is not that difficult, right? So if girls were cycling, පොඩි විසිල් එකක් හරි උතරවත් විසිල් එකක් ගහන්න ඕනේ. ඒක අඩුයි දැන් මොකද කොල්ලන්ටත් ප්‍රශ්න 3 wheel එලවලා උන්ට ටීල් නැති හින්දා උන්ට විසිල් එකක් ගහන්නත් බෑ. but ඉතින් නංගි කිව්වොත් අය මොකද මල්ලි කියලා තේම you have to ඉතින් පාර එන්න ඕනේ. if you are on the road, you have to be on the road. ඔය නිකන් යන්න ගියොත් එහෙම බෑ. you have to be confident and be you and be that, right? ඉතින් එහෙම ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න එනවා අඩුයි. But because it's late in the night, if my wife cycles once in a while, some other lights 7, I go and cycle back with her. Whatever, right? We have to be sensible also. No? Apart from that, I think එහෙම ලොකුම ප්‍රශ්න නෑ. මොකද lights නැති වුණොත් light power cut එකක you feel a bit nervous. මුකුත් නැති රාක් තනියම පදන් එන්න 8-9ට I think somebody should couple with you. partner කෙනෙක් friend කෙනෙක්ව දාගත්තා නම් it's very confident to go as a team. දෙන්නෙක්ව තුන් දෙනෙක්. So when you know somebody cycles, let's say in a Slatscom, you have a little community. If somebody is coming from Margam, then 2 people can come together, right? So these are little platforms you can build and show how it's done. These are things that tech teams can do. So don't forget, Sri Lanka is a beautiful country, which means this bicycle that you are now finding to just go to work, maybe it might even be a holiday. Maybe on a poor day, you might do a ride to Kalutara and go see beautiful things around Sri Lanka. And if you ask how far and what distances can I ride, once upon a time in 2019 I took a decision and said ලංකාවේ යට ඉඳන් උඩට පදිමු කියලා. අපි යන බයිසිකලෙන් කොච්චර දුර යන්න පුළුවන්ද? වැඩට එන්න කිලෝමීටර් 20ක් යන්න පුළුවන්ද වගේ ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නත් පුළුවන් අපිට. ඉතින් නිකන් ඩිසිෂන් එකක් ගත්තා යට ඉඳන් උඩට පදින්න මචං කිලෝමීටර් 600ක් තියෙනවා. කොච්චර වෙලා ඇයිද? 5 days, yeah. 600 k's, no?
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ පළමු වරට දෙවුන්තර තුඩුවේ සිට වේදුර තුඩුව දක්වා පාපතියෙන් ගමන් කර නව වාර්තාවක් පිහිටුවීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකික ක්‍රීඩකින් දෙදෙනෙකු සමත් වුණා. දෙවුන්තර ප්‍රදීපාගාරය ඉදිරිපිටින් ගමන් ආරම්භ කළ මෙම පාපදී සවාරියට ශ්‍රී ලංකික ක්‍රීඩකින් දෙදෙනාට අමතරව විදෙස් රටවල් කිහිපයක ක්‍රීඩකින්ද එක්ව සිටියා. සවාරිය නිමා කළේ යසස් හේවගේ සහ රාජන් තනේනායකම් විසින්. ඔවුන් තරගයෙන් මා කළේ කිලෝමීටර් 596ක දුර ප්‍රමාණයක් ගෙවා පේදුරු තුඩුවට ළඟා වෙමින්. සවාරිය නිමා කිරීම සඳහා මොවුන් ගත කළ කාලය පැය 26යි විනාඩි 38ක්. මෙම පාපැදි සවාරිය සංවිධානය කිරීමේ ප්‍රධාන අරමුණ නිදහසේ අභිමානීය දකුණෙන් උතුරට රැගෙන යාමයි. එමෙන්ම මේන් ලැබෙන මුදල් වලින් විශේෂ අවශ්‍යතා සහිත දරුවන් සඳහා රෝද පුටු ලබා දීමට නියමිතයි.
So බයිසිකලයක් අරන්වා පොය දවසක ගෙදර ඉඳන් පදින්න ගත්තොත් කළුතර පැත්තට some point you will be in Kalutara. What point I don't know. So just like the postman, people ask ඉතින් කොච්චර වෙලායිද, can I do this, can I bike to work, think what a ගෙදර ඉඳන් ඔෆිස් එකට යන්න පැයක් වෙනවා කියලා හිතනවා නම් පොඩක් කලින් එහාරනොත් එහෙම ඉතින් at your own speed you will get there, and as you keep doing it you only get better. So if you ever decide to go around Sri Lanka on a bicycle, finally, it's a beautiful thing to do. We do that every year. Because of COVID and the East attack, we didn't. So this bicycle now we are getting into just to go to work can take you to this beautiful country, which is why I think we are living here now.
Super exciting. My name is Asha Dinos. We've had a bit of an exciting moment as we came through Yala this morning. We did have a wild elephant sighting, so we had to be a little bit careful.
Mulatu, chalo. boom එකක් ඒ bicycle holidays ඉස්සරහට. මේ Aerodynamics අපි යන right side. 2014 no one has done this. Even Google Maps did not have this route.
Like super training, so I invite everyone to join.
course, till you do that, Bambalapitiya to Vellavath also has some amazing adventure, as long as you are not rushing in to stop and talk to people, have a cup of tea and get some good conversation going and enjoy Sri Lanka. ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. හැබැයි සරල වෙලා simplify කරගත්තොත් ඉතින් we can still enjoy life මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳගෙන ගමන්, right? So apart from that, I think my bestie on the road, I drink a lot of water, I listen to music, I am an audiobook fan. 1 ear has to be open to hear the buses coming. I meet people you never meet. රෑ 10ට හම්බෙන අය වෙනස්, උදේ හම්බෙන අය වෙනස්. No fuel cost, time is saved. Ideas උත් එන්නේ ඔය helmet දාන වගේ ඉතින් bicycle එක පදිද්දි, because you are not disturbed with WhatsApp messages and all that. This is your thinking time, self time, because the phones are tending to always bother you, right? So your creativity, all of that, right? Thoughts come because you are by yourself. So from a company point, some of you are representing companies at a senior level. Thank you for being part of this. I hope you go back. I don't know whether we can work specifically stuff for your company, inspire more people. It's not about only bicycles. Sri Lanka has a food waste problem. We throw more food in a buffet than we eat, and we think that's okay, Mazam. This country has so many things that we have to change, not just the bicycle. So I guess whoever drank water, there's a habit of leaving this bottle behind and going. They think this water will be there forever, and the plastic somebody. So we have problems. It's not in the parliament. 90% of the problems are with us. So we got to figure this out. I'm going to take this with me today. My friend Nishantha from Zero Plastic is going island-wide trying to get this plastic out of the system. So we have stuff to do. So inspire people to change, and a bicycle is a great way to think. Zero fuel, at least once a week, twice a week. You have to bring some programs in your companies, so you keep the excitement going. After fuel comes, people might not do this. How do you keep the bike to work days, events, fun stuff? We might come up with a fun event soon. There are a lot of fun things you can do going. If you have few bikes at your office, people might trial it before they go to ride to work. They'll at least go to buy the bath, or they'll go to the coffee shop and bring some party stuff from Commons. I don't know where to buy this stuff from, Rahima. So get some bikes in your office if you can, right? If you have extra bike at home, park it at office. And then build a base and then put the infrastructure. That's what the companies could do. And we'll be happy to promote it, give you credit, show that you are leading from the front, because we need that leadership. So you can catch me on Spinner. It's on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And I've given my number for WhatsApp for you to call me and ask me. I might not answer all calls, but I can always help you if you need any support in the decisions you make. So ladies and gentlemen, that's our discussion today. A bit of change management, a bit of thinking, and simplifying things and being practical. Bicycle is a good way of getting the discussion going. Idea is more and more bike to work. That's the plan. Thank you so much. We are done. Thank you for being here. We are now open for questions, Q&A, etc. So I think we've answered hand signals. There is a question, yes, both hands, but when you get a bit comfortable, you'll be able to take that hand out. So practice a little bit before you do hand signals, I agree. If you are nervous on the bike, those are not things that you might want to do. Stop if you are not sure. One question. Is there any other question that has come on? Bike seats, we addressed it. Bike maintenance, but do you want to discuss that, anybody? No? Yes? Okay. So what you do after a ride is, if it has rain, or today if it's rain, main thing is to look after your chain. That's what messes up everything else. So use some degreaser. If you have the money, buy a WD-40 or a degreaser. If you don't have the money, like me, I don't want to spend money, I'll use a bit of Boomitel without putting into the frame, or I'll use soap water and clean the chain and put some lubricants. And that lubricants දාන්න ඕනේ මේ හරියටම පුරුක් වලට. And if you lube the chain, always remember ඒක සම්පූර්ණ wipe කරන්න එළියේ තියෙන තෙල් ටික අයින් වෙන්න. මොකද නැත්තම් එළියේ තියෙන දූවිලි ඔක්කොම නිකන් chain එකේ ගිහලා ඉස්සරහා මේ chain rings උත් ගෙවෙනවා, cassette එකත් ගෙවෙන්න ගන්නවා. So look after your bike, wash it regularly, and do a service 3 to 4 months after about 2,000 kilometers of riding. So obviously you have to go to a mechanic to get a good service done. Maybe as time you might also learn how to do it, but some of full service එකක අපි කරන්නේ hubs දෙකම ගලවලා front එක ගලවලා bottom එක ගලවලා ඔක්කොම reservice කරලා ආපහු දානවා. So ඒක reservice කරලා ආපහු දානවා. So ඒක it's a bit of a technical job. So bikes can last a lifetime if you look after them properly. Are we having what's the plan, Rachel? Sure, let's go.
Meanwhile, the question has come in the numbness felt when riding for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Outside of the foot, what can be done?
So, generally, if you haven't had an active background before you got onto the bike, right, you can find little aches and pains would come. But generally, we don't expect you to do a major warm-up and all that before you get on a bike, because bike can gradually warm වෙන එකක් නේ. අනිත් එක අපේ මුළු body weight එකම තියෙන්නේ seat එකේ. දැන් දුවනවා නම් දුවන්න first step එකේ දා මුළු body weight කිලෝ 60ක් 70ක් 80ක් ධනිස් වලට වැටෙනවා. ගැලවිලා there can be injuries. But on a bike it's not, because you sit and you gradually ride and you warm up anyways. So there's no major requirement to warm up before you ride. But said that, doing a bit of dynamic stretches and all that helps, but it's not life or death. But why do you get numbness is your overall fitness might be the issue, or it can be 30 minutes old hydration නේ මොකද dehydrate වෙලා electrolyte නැති වෙලා එහෙම වෙන්නේ ඉතින් පැය එකමාරක් දෙකක්වත් පදින්න ඕනේ. 30 minutes එනවා කියන්නේ you are not used to this still. Maybe the seat height වර්ධිතන ඉන්නේ. ඒ වගේ දේවල් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So seat height එකත් හරියට හදාගෙන හරි muscles උත් පාවිච්චි කරද්දී you might realize your numbness can slowly go off. But remember, you have to do some outside of the bike fitness work to be able to comfortably ride a bike as you go. That was the answer for that question on numbness.
Right, Jesus, thank you very much for that amazing talk through on cycling and pretty much everything else that you covered. You've shown your experience of coming from the corporate industry, being a pro banker, and making it your way all the way to become a pro cyclist. Many of the things that you've done with the bicycle in Sri Lanka, that's the first time anybody's done it in this country, in this part of the world. So amazing. Some of the things that you also said, like how comfortable we are with the Wi-Fi setup, and we're not worried about it one bit. The right terminology, we are not even willing to tolerate questions like that. Though it's real, we don't want it to come. Until it comes, we're not going to be worried. And also, I had myself really laughing out there, because when you said helmets are 12,000, and that was the price of bicycles some time ago. Nobody's going to buy it for 12,000. Great. We are going to have a quick Q&A. I'm also going to ask Denver to join in for this one. Take the seat, gentlemen. And
Denver is a pro, you know that, no?
he told me you're the pro. Yes, sir.
We all learn from Yasas.
Yeah, just feel free to turn the chair in the best angle you think you'll face the audience or the camera. Quickly about Denver. So Yasas has spoken to us for a while, and we did an introduction to what Yasas is capable of. Denver De Silva is the Senior Vice President of Virtusa. Denver serves as a global head of facilities and sustainability, and is responsible for driving ESG and sustainability improvements in alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. He's passionate on enabling innovation and creativity while creating sanctuaries with a total occupant experience of workspaces. He is also responsible for many energy-saving initiatives within the organization, and is an ESG enthusiast driving others to adopt best practices. So that's about Denver. My first question over to you. You told me that you ended up cycling by mistake, became a cyclist by mistake, never planned, and you've been doing it for a while, maybe half a decade now.
No, certainly, probably about 5-6 years. A bunch of friends decided to do the Thomian ride around the Pearl and got involved, and at that time I didn't even know what. I went to Lumala and bought, I said, give me a nice strong bicycle. I still have it, solid steel, weighs about 25 to 30 kilos, not what anyone would buy today. But as I would 100% agree with Yasas, that the bicycle really doesn't matter very much. If you can ride, you'll ride any bicycle,
right? So I think that's the important piece. And I completely agree with him. The brand is only in the frame. Yeah. Everything else gets added on. But what I would really like to share is embracing cycling as a lifestyle change. And what I remind people is every kilometer that you commute, you're saving this country that is struggling from foreign expenditure of fuel, plus you're positively contributing to a clean environment. Whereas everyone standing in the queue is there to spend the dollars and pollute the environment. That's a fact. So how do we change that? We know it's needed. But I think we have to go beyond that aspect of being conscious of values, of what are we doing to the environment? How can we change? And, I used to cycle sort of on the weekends. And I thought, why can't I put all that energy really for a commute? Right? And that mindset, can I do this without, as Yasa says, no fuel week. I haven't really topped up a tank in months because I've made that choice. Yes, I do use the car occasionally. Today I came in a car because there was some other commitments. But we can change that. And I think that's the important message from the tech industries. We are 100% work from home. Doesn't mean that you don't need a bicycle. What about going to the bank, going to the ATM, doing a few things? Anything within a 5 to 10 kilometers is cyclable distances. And, the dangers is you have to get out there and see. It's as dangerous as walking if you would take it. Yeah. So I think those are just a few points there.
All right, about as a starter, because you've been at it, and maybe Yasas can add to that too. Say I'm going to buy a bike, and my workplace is about 20 kilometers away from where I live. So it's a 20-kilometer ride, another 20 kilometer back, 8 hours later on the same day, with no experience whatsoever. I've cycled for fun before, and I remember even if I do it for a short ride, I get pains in the thigh, which goes off and comes back if you don't do it regularly. But if you do it regularly, that pain goes off and you don't even get it. For somebody who's going to start tomorrow, maybe next week, is it a wise idea to start with a 20-kilometer right away, or is there a way to get there? Is there a sequential way to get there?
And I think first is see whether you're comfortable riding a bike. Whether it's 1 kilometer or 20, first is can you do the 1 kilometer comfortably? Is your seat height okay? Are your tires okay? Are your brakes okay? And one point I like to make is lots of our people, I think, don't take breakfast. And if you're riding in the morning, you can have what is known as a sugar blackout if you have not taken in some. So have a banana or drink something so that you don't have, it can be fairly dangerous. We don't know the health conditions of different people, so make sure that you're on the right track of that. A few other safety things is wet weather. Watch for the manholes that have a metal covering, because your bike's rubber tires and that metal with water is a recipe for going through. Don't try to jump the pavements. Sideways, you will fall. You won't make it. Right? Because you think you have a mountain bike and shock absorbers, and that drives people, to do silly things. Be vocal, be visible. We cannot be non-visible when you're a cyclist. So the more visibility you draw will be better. And be courteous. Stop if you can't do anything. There is no challenge. You don't have to go there. And I completely agree with Yasas. Watching for even the three-wheelers, even if you're riding early morning, don't ride too close to the road, because most of our vehicles come halfway out, three-quarter out, and look left and right. By that time, it's too late. So a few things, be conscious. Don't be trying to look at your phone and do other things. And just start, take it easy. First, if you have to cycle to work, try it on a Saturday or Sunday.
Exactly, yeah, that's
right.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah.
Try it out as a fun project.
Yeah.
Have your ample time with you so you're not under pressure.
Absolutely.
Then you know how it feels like. And also add a bit of fun to it.
Yeah.
So you know the pit stops, you know the Kandaka days. So if you think 20 Ks is 1 hour, give it a 2 hour.
Okay.
That day do it a bit early. So, so that slowly you can start improving that time. But if you find a way to enjoy and make it fun. So like if I'm out, I go to my tea joint in Colombo 13, right? So likewise, we have this kind of place, and if you're interested to check out some girls or guys, I don't know what you look for.
Surely girls, yeah.
එහෙම නැද්ද මචං? ඒ වගේත් මම දැන් කොහෙද ඒවා තියෙන්නේ කියලා එහෙම නැතුව ඇතිනේ. So I actually, when I was a banker those days, I used to take the 154 route because when I was at school, HSBC girls wore short skirts those days මචං. ඉතින් හැමදාම යනවා එතනින් බලන් යන්න මොකද අපිට මැජික් වගේනේ. Finally I got a job in that bank. So with a bicycle you can cover a lot of such scenery and have
Good
fun.
fit, I think so. The idea is figure it out, get used to it, get in.
And have fun machang, enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Find out your
Yeah.
points of interest and
Yeah.
they can actually keep you going. Great. Cadence in cycling, please explain. That's a question that has come in. One more
Cadence.
about yeah.
Cadence, yeah.
Cadence, yeah. Maybe rhythm.
Yeah, so the word is cadence. It's also called RPM, revolutions per minute. So it's a sport that makes your leg go in circles, right, a lot. So when you find that right rhythm, you will find a sweet spot, how much of circles that you will turn around in a minute. Cadence කියලා කියන්නේ. There is a general view about 80, 90. If you are spinning, it's a good, efficient place to be. What happens is, a lot of us, if it's a hill, we grind it with our gears. What happens is, you have to try to keep the cadence constant, but change the gears. That's what makes it a bit more efficient ride. So, something that you can even do from your mind, am I spinning it, overspinning it, or grinding? Middle point is something that helps you in your efficiency.
It's like driving a car. You know that you don't try to do 100 kilometers an hour on the first gear. Neither do you try to do 20 kilometers an hour on the fifth gear.
Yeah.
So you will keep it to a steady RPM so that your legs are going at a comfortable pace and you compensate the hills and the downhills with the gears.
Yeah.
Just to maintain that same speed and effort. So your effort and speed remains the same on your legs, the RPM, but the speed of the bike will vary.
All right, understood. So that's what this whole deal is about. And about a popular question that has come in when children are cycling. We are usually extra cautious when our children are up to something. Is there anything else? And then what we've discussed so far, what Yasas has explained throughout his lovely presentation, are there any extra precautions that can be taken when children are on those wheels?
So my two kids both, of course, 16 and 14, they've been cycling for a long time, but now they're like 100% on a bicycle to school, go to one golf face, everything. So everything we discuss matters, safety. They don't leave home without that, or they'll get a khane if they do the wrong thing. But said that, what I did initially was to take them through with me and play the role. I used to ride in front of them to give them confidence, and slowly, your parents can't just take hands off and just tell kids to do whatever and just be on the phone and behaving their life. They got to be with them.
Not only in cycling, but everything else.
Everything else. The coach has to come because the school's broken. Countries' leaders are giving all the wrong. So parents have to play a bigger coach, mentor's role today because we outsource the kids to school, and school is not having any of the, one school is doing, and we are getting to schools now. So then what I did was, then we get to the back and let them take the lead. So step by step, right? You have to decode the wrong things, and then they become comfortable and confident.
Yeah, and I think one more thing to add is for a new cyclist, try to cycle with someone who has experience, and then you'll get the confidence. And they'll tell you, change your gear, do this, and you do the same thing even with your kids. Yeah. It's important to get people who are experienced to ride with, even if it's for a smaller ride. And I have personally taken time to encourage others and ride with them at their pace. It doesn't matter what. We will keep up and just make sure that they're comfortable. They get the confidence and say, watch out, there's a truck coming, that vehicle is braking, because now he's trying to look left and right. You can't do that on a bike, right? 1 minute you'll be inside something else, right?
Yeah. So that's why when I think this is, now that SLATSCOM has initiated this, if at each of your companies you have a bit of community and who's there to buddy up and do that little initial ride with them. So I hope you put that little ecosystem that's going to help.
And probably even a cycling WhatsApp group, and then you can form your Strava WhatsApp groups, right? Strava has a sort of a grouping that you can be a part of /com cycling club or something like that. And then you know your rides, who's going. And it's always good to ride with someone else. That's a good practice even nowadays, yeah?
So then on our next project, the dream project is called Smart Friday, where we want Friday mornings to create a little channel where all of this happens on the road with the private sector involvement. It's not only about bike to work, but we're also promoting work from home. It's like what you're doing at Virtusa, you're setting the benchmark, right? We need to share that with other companies also, because if the roads become less congested because people are sensible by changing the times of work, flexi work, schools open at different times, some are working from home, that's when the execution of a bike lane becomes practical. If we put all companies, all schools, everybody together. So I guess I just want to request some of you from the /com community to look at partnering this. We'll share the details with you. Like Cycling Sunday we did, but now it's about creating the community around to support the commuting part of it.
And even for us at Virtusa, since COVID, for the last 2.5 years, we've been 100% work from home.
Exactly.
Not only in Sri Lanka, globally.
Yeah.
But people have issues. I think I shared something where parents can take their children on the cycling rack stand where the children can be commuted. And I think the more easier commute, right? If you're looking at a 5-10 kilometer commute, look at the easy bicycle. 5 gears, basket in front, a thing to take your child, a step through bicycle. Easy, right? You're not going to race the world. You're just using it to be environmentally friendly, safe, and have mobility, right? It's not about a race.
No.
It's just about getting from A to B. And if you stick to that, and those are not expensive pieces. I think Yasas has a couple of those machines out there. They're easy to get, right?
Right, great. Any questions from the audience? Jan has one.
Yeah, so I'll give you a few examples. I recently had to come. I stayed in Maharagama. I came for a meeting to Cinnamon Lakeside. So I took my change of clothes, and of course the gym was there, and I did a quick shower and changed back into that. But most of the companies could provide you a basic shower. Shower is not a difficult thing to provide. The next piece is lots of the people close to their workplaces used to go to a gym. Go to your gym, and maybe if it's a long ride, do that. And as Yasa said, as you get experience, you can learn to cycle without really breaking into a sweat and panting your head off like the postman. Postman does it very easily, right? You have never seen the postman haggard, but he's doing those small rounds. So you can take a break, give yourself a little more time, and start getting to those places. And have, the pannier bags, if that works for you. It's not really advisable to have things on your back as a backpack, but I see lots of these Uber guys doing it. If they just get a simple rack like that, it takes a hell of a lot of effort and pain and back problems and other things off you.
The good thing now, it's become a norm. If you just go by bike, there was a time when I used to do this, it was, my HR had a problem when I first had to use my car park and put a bike there, because in a corporate world, a car park is like a reward you get type of thing. So I think that game's changed thanks to this little crisis that we had and how it's created the bit of a boom. So now if you actually, I can wear a proper shirt and ride, again at your own speed, right? And shower should not be a deterrent anymore. It's nice to have, because if you really spend a few minutes, you see how many people come by bus. How many people come by train? People walk. So this is this mindset that we have to be all smelling top-end, perfume to be able to be sitting at a meeting. Yes, hygiene matters, for which you need to use some deodorant or something, but it's not as bad after when you get that efficiency. Most companies work in the corporate branded T-shirt now, and that's perfectly possible. And in my banking days, obviously, I used to keep a couple of shirts, all that in a locker, if there is such a meeting that you need to do a change. So I know we are all looking for showers and etc. I think it's a bit of a Nice to have.
Nice to have, yeah.
And now everybody, if you go with a helmet to a meeting, I think you get more recognition for, you're cycling, and you're bound to have somebody in that meeting say, I also tried, I had a problem, and you already have a conversation. If you're in business, already have ice break, we are doing this. That's the conversation. And that itself is a good thing to do. So I think it's a more positive now.
Right, great. I think a fabulous question to bring the Q&A to an end. Thank you very much to Denver and of course to Yasas for joining us into this quick one, really quick Q&A, but did add a lot of value. Thank you very much to the both of you. I'm going to head over to the closing remarks. Closing remarks is going to be delivered by Jehan. Jehan, I'm going to bring on Jehan on stage. Jehan is the Vice President, Vice Chairman, I beg your pardon, SLASCOM, and the Forum Board Lead of the ESG Forum and the BPM Forum of SLASCOM. He's a very passionate ESG and champions ESG across the IT BPM industry. Bike to Work was one of his initiatives, and he has many other initiatives up his sleeve in the months to come. He is also the CEO of Informat. Let me please welcome Jehan Perimbanayagam to deliver the vote of thanks maybe.
Thank you very much indeed, Yasas, for inspiring us. It was absolutely revolutionary. I think, as you said, it could be life-changing for a lot of us and delivered with a lot of knowledge and with a lot of humor, which we all thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for setting up Spinner. It's a place that I personally plan to visit with my kids. Thank you, Denver. You've been a mainstay of our ESG forum. And thank you for sharing your personal experiences. It's nothing like someone from our own industry who has done it for many years, inspiring us. Thank you to all of you who attended in person and online. We had something like nearly 500 registrations and several hundred people joining online. We'll record this and share it amongst the entire nearly 100,000 SLASCOM membership, and we really want to take up these groups and inspire our companies and our employees to really take up cycling, biking to work as a passion. Thanks to our sponsors, Virtusa and Informat. Thank you to our fantastic corporate office and particularly to Rochelle, our brilliant compere Ajmal for once again taking care of our events, and to Dialogue for giving us this fantastic auditorium, your team here. We are very grateful indeed. So a little bit about SLASCOM and ESG. The vision that our chairperson, Sandra, has outlined to be the world's first green IT BPM destination. We've done a lot of work. There are very strong BPM companies, IT destinations, but none of them really position themselves as a green IT BPM destination. So we want to take the lead in this. It's the right thing to do, and we also think that it makes good business sense. So we had actually initiated a lot of these initiatives like solar and bike to work and other initiatives before all of this crisis happened, and now I think it's really opportune. So we have a crisis, yes, but can we in this see opportunities? And I think what we heard today is a fantastic opportunity. Thank you very much once again. Thank you all, and happy biking. Good evening.
Thank you very much to Jehan. Shout out to our sponsors before our final goodbyes. Like Didi mentioned, our platinum sponsor, Virtusa Corporation, is of course a global provider of digital business strategy and digital engineering, along with information technology services and solutions that help clients change, disrupt, and unlock new value through innovative engineering. Virtusa serves 2,000 companies in banking, financial services, insurance, healthcare, communication, media, entertainment, travel, manufacturing, and of course, technology industries. Shout out to Informat, which is what Jehan himself represents. They are the event partner, established in 2005. Informat today is a premier BPM company with over 100 plus clientele that includes some of the biggest brand names in the world. Spanning over 4 contingents, Informat has achieved many firsts and several outstanding achievements in the industry and is backed by the JKH Group. Thank you, big thank you to the Platinum sponsor and event sponsor to make sure this event is put together. Like I did say at the opening, what a great time to have a bike to work event, and Sluscom for taking the initiative to make this happen. I'm sure all of you who joined in grabbed an awful lot of knowledge on how to safely bike, what are the right techniques, how could you go from nowhere to maybe pro over experience, and the techniques that we learned, and some of the fabulous experiences that Denver did also share towards the latter part. So thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in online, even more to the ones who turned out in person. Wish you all a great evening and a fabulous week coming up. Thank you very much then. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much again to Yasas and of course Denver, who's on stage with me now. Thanks a lot.
We are delighted to introduce Informat Private Limited. With a proud history of 16 years, Informat today is the most experienced and most successful BPM in the country. Informat has a wide array of services, including accounting, HR, and a range of back-office services. We are proud of our portfolio of over 100 clients in 4 continents. With glowing references from some of the biggest and most recognized brands in the world, Informat is backed by Sri Lanka's largest and most respected corporate blue chip, the John Keells Group. One of our clients had this to say: "We have made gains across the board. Informat is not a basic outsourcing provider. They are constantly looking for the value add and new ways where they can help us lift our finance activities to world's best practice." Our work for our clients is performed on leading systems, including SAP, Oracle, and JD Edwards. Our world-class methodologies include the ACE transition methodology, Lean Six Sigma, and ISO 27001 certified information security practices.
Speed is the new currency of business. In the new digital economy, effective competition requires a balanced approach to deep digital transformation that drives direct business value. By combining frictionless technology delivery with deep industry expertise, Virtusa helps business move forward faster. We help our clients advance to their optimal business state and achieve quick and continuous return on their investments. And we accomplish this through our digital transformation studio approach. Our approach leverages a unique combination of tools, assets, and people to drive over 30% efficiency and speed in delivering digital transformation. As a global leader in digital engineering and transformational IT services, we empower our client relationships with speed at scale, our deep engineering history, business and industry focus, digital transformation studio, and talent development pipeline. Virtusa is an end-to-end provider delivering the full spectrum of technology services for our clients. We offer consulting and design services, digital engineering services, cloud services, and managed services. Through our industry focus, we optimize the value created at the intersection of business and technology. As a leading service provider, we have created extensive relationships with prominent technology organizations and have been recognized for our exceptional quality and digital engineering capabilities by many renowned industry analysts and awards organizations.